committee will then go and ask any questions that they have. Once the committee is done, we will go to the public. Public comes up, addresses the committee. Everybody, please use the microphone. And once we've heard from everybody from the public on an application, we will go back to the applicants for any follow-up on that. I ask that everybody addresses the committee only, that there's no back and forth, that everybody speak respectfully to each other, to us about the applications. And I think that's it. We do need to use the microphone, so
please be
please be
conscious
conscious
of
of using the microphone. The stand raises and lowers. I think that covers it. So the first application we are going to hear is Mencken Corp. Doing business as Oscar's Place at 466 Hudson. This is a corporate change, and this one's easy for me to find. This is item D1.
Hi, my name is Sam Park. I'm the representative. I'm here for corporate officer change, and then he's the owners. Now he's getting the 100% share, and then he's operating for 11 years at the restaurant wine, and there will be nothing change, everything will be same. And we open for 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
7 days a week.
Okay, so when you had your stipulation,
I think before it was till 11 p.m. So
it'll stay the same. You don't have to stay open till 11 p.m., but at least you can stay open till 11 p.m. And if you have a sidewalk cafe,
We do, yes.
yeah, so that closes at 11 p.m. That's what your old stipulations
Yeah, in the past,
said.
but
Yeah,
now we do at
yep.
9.
And there's no road bed seating, and you close all doors and windows at 10 p.m.
Exactly.
Okay, I think that's it for me. Okay, we have one person from the public, two people from the public here to speak on this application, Sasha Greens and Nancy Paisley.
I'll check. Let me check.
What?
I may be missing one.
Okay, anybody who's here to speak on an application, if from the public, please feel free to come up. You can always fill out the speaker card afterwards, and you don't have to wait for me to call on you, so that we can try to go a little bit faster. And the other thing I'm just going to say, if you have the same thing to say that the person before you said, just say you agree with them. No need to repeat everything, so we can try to keep things moving. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sasha Green.
And Sasha, you're speaking to us.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I apologize. I'm a former community board member, and I'm here to talk about Oscar's Restaurant. I'm a local person. I live 2 blocks away. Oscar's is a wonderful place. It's clean, it's nice, it's accommodating, friendly, and what more can I say? I support their transition and everything else they're attempting to do. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Nancy Paisley. I live down the street from Oscar's, and I want to say I agree totally. It's a terrific place. I'm always a little apprehensive at a corporate change, but they're telling me it's all going to be the same, so I'm support.
Hi, my name is Ria Sohn. I live in the community also, and I agree. It's a wonderful place. Thank you.
If you could fill out a speaker card and hand it up here, that would be great. They're in. Okay, thanks. Anybody else? Okay, I think
Thank
that
you.
does it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good luck. I'm just putting those over there. Okay, the next application is going to be Grey Dog Carmine, doing business as the Grey Dog, 49 Carmine Street. This is an alteration to convert a service bar to a bar.
My name is Michael Kelly, representing the applicant. With me is
David Eaton, he's the owner. This is an alteration application to change the current 16-foot service bar to a customer bar with 8 seats. They'll be used for eating and anyone who wants to sit down while waiting for a table. There are no other changes. The plan submitted showed a current setup of the sidewalk and roadway cafe also. The roadway is a lot less seating and is probably 1/3 the size of the old roadway. We used to have 50 seats, now we have 8 out there. Grey Dog has been open and operating at this location since 2016 and is frequented by mostly residents of the area. The approved closing hours are midnight, but we normally close a lot earlier. Last call is usually 9 p.m. and we're closed by 10. There are 55 signatures from the immediate area, 16 from our building, and 5 others from our block. If there are any questions, we're willing to answer them.
Okay, so because the discrepancy is so much between what's on your diagram for your outdoor and what you actually came to us for,
Yes.
so it's 2 tables and 4 seats on Carmine Street and 4 tables and 8 seats on Bedford
Yeah, the 4 and 8, there's a roadway, 2
Yeah.
tables and 4 seats at the
is the
sidewalk.
sidewalk, and everything's closing at 10 outside.
Yes,
Okay.
and so is basically the restaurant inside.
No, we heard, this has come to, yes, we have heard it before 3 times over the years, but it's been withdrawn, and it was during
Yes.
COVID and everything else, so,
And the rainstorm last time.
and the rainstorm last time. So this is it. Does anybody from the committee have anything? It's to change the bar.
It's an existing service bar.
It's adding 8 seats. It's changing it to add 8 seats at the bar instead of it being a service bar.
Correct.
Anybody here from the public on this one? Yes, okay, I have cards. Okay, come on up.
I'm Andrea Meyer. I live at 65 Carmine Street. So the last time we were here, I have to say that they've been following the rules since for outdoor, okay? And that's good. But the last time I came to a community board meeting about that, David agreed to all kinds of things, and then they went back and completely changed what they wanted. I don't believe what he says, therefore. But also, and that's a verbal thing. Now, he wants 8 seats at a bar inside. That's going to change the nature of the establishment quite a bit. I don't want that. I don't know who he got 55 signatures from, but also, you say the closing time is 12 p.m. every night. So that's nice that usually they close at 10, but also if the service bar gets approved, why not close it down at 11? Because a regular drinking bar is going to change the nature of, the possibility of it changing is very great. And I would say almost all the restaurants all close by 11. So I don't want the bar, but if we're going to have it, wouldn't an 11 o'clock hard stop make more sense?
Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm David Gruber. I'm president of the Carmine Street Block Association. We've had our hands full with Grey Dog over the years. As my colleague had just spoken, it's hard to believe anything he's going to say. Comes to this community board, says he's going to do this, that, agrees to all sorts of stipulations. The next day he withdraws everything and he doesn't move forward with it. I'm not sure why we need a stand-up bar there. Traditionally, Grey Dog was on Carmine Street in the mid-block. It was not a bar. It was a eating and breakfast place. He got the liquor license there. I'm not sure how it benefits anybody in the community to have yet another stand-up bar. We did not want the shed and the roadbed We know he got a waiver for it, but still, it's a very narrow street. It's not, it's just irresponsible on such a narrow street to have a shed on Bedford Street. This community doesn't feel to give Gray Dog any consideration for anything he wants, as he gives this community no consideration for anything that we want. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else here from the public on this one? Okay.
Okay, so Dave's been operating according to the stipulations. He did hear the community. He used to have about a 70-foot shed there that we've turned into a 20-foot shed. The lady is worried about turning into a bar and want us to close at 11. We'll go one better and close at 10. 'Cause that's
7
what time he
days.
closes.
7 days.
Yes.
Close the entire premises at
Yep.
10. Yep. Okay.
It's what time he's been closing for years.
Okay. Anybody? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Good night.
Can I
Yeah.
address just a couple things for clarity,
Yeah.
please?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Let me start by saying,
Tilt the microphone up or hold it or turn. Yeah.
good. So I've actually been at Carmine Street since 1996, right? In 2011, right, I was given the Village Award, right, for, you know, being a very special restaurant, right? Only one person gets nominated per year, right? So to say that I haven't given back to the community is a fallacy, right? Andrea, who spoke prior, we used to be friends, right? When she started her catering business, it was with me who she consulted with. David Gruber is in some of the Gray Dog team photos. We got into an argument back in, I think, 2010, and we never spoke again, and he's been saying things against us. We are a brunch place, right? More like a diner, right? The bar is, the bar accounts for about 6% of sales. We're not an alcohol place. We close at 10. The important thing here is I need the seats at the bar because at brunch, my busiest time, when singles come in or people waiting, they need to sit down and I could seat them at a bar for one person, right? Think of us as a diner bar, right? I close currently, which was also misrepresented. Gray Dog closes, last call is at 9 o'clock right now, right? Everybody clears out by 10, right? We haven't been a nuisance. That's just a fallacy, right? And I need these 8 seats because what I have right now is an old service model pre-COVID where we were a coffee shop. You used to walk right up to the counter, right? Now I have this battleship of a counter with no use because COVID changed our service model. We became table service, right? So I have this gigantic space as a service bar. People come in, they're confused. They're like, do I order here? Do I order there? If I had 8 stools, they'd know, and it would be more cohesive as a restaurant. I'm not trying to get over on anybody. And the reason last time, my representative couldn't make the meeting because of a storm, and I didn't understand some of the documents being discussed, so I wasn't in a position. I'm not trying to BS anybody. I've been legit since 1996.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody? No? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you. Okay, the next application is going to be Chubby Cattle Barbecue, Spring Street, New York, LLC, 206 Spring Street. This is an on-premise for a restaurant. It's Chubby. Thank you. Yeah. Here. This is item C3.
This is an application for full liquor license at 206 Spring Street. This used to be formerly occupied by The U, which was a Korean barbecue place. They went out of business, and now Matthew Lee, he's the general manager. His group is taking over this space and opening an Asian sort of barbecue restaurant. This is sort of an all-you-can-eat barbecue place, and the premises are exactly the same as before. It's 3 floors, the basement, ground floor, and the second floor, 2,000 square feet. There's an elevator inside. There's a small bar at the front. It seats about 4 people. The hours are 11 a.m. to midnight every day. There's no outside seating. There's no open windows. There's going to be background music. That's all I have for you.
No TVs, private parties?
No TVs, no private parties. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you sent in a better floor diagram,
Yes,
I
I
think?
did. It's
Okay.
attached to the very last page.
Okay, great.
And you show seating, and I circled the seating areas.
Okay.
The very last 2 pages.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, I don't have any questions. Cormac?
Yeah, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I just want to check on this no private parties, like no Christmas parties, closed for private Christmas party, buyouts, anything like that?
Right now, we don't plan to have any private parties.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else have anything? No. Anybody here from the public on this application? No, and nobody's doing, okay. I think we're
Thank
good.
you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next application is going to be Take Me to the River LLC, doing business as Pearl, 22 Greenwich Avenue. This is C5. Thanks. Anything different? Okay, great.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin Korngut. I'm the attorney for the applicant. This is an application for a
You
change.
may have to just twist it, and it can, see there's a dial in the middle, it can raise and lower if you want it to. Otherwise, you can bend over or whatever. Yeah.
This is an application for a change in class from restaurant wine to full liquor. The applicant has Take Me to the River, DBA Pearl. I have with me tonight Christian Rowan, who is the principal of the applicant. They've been operating with a beer and wine license for about a year. The premises is very small, it's 17 seats at a raw bar. And the reason for the change is really the type of food that they're serving. They're serving mainly raw bar, so oysters, lobster, Christian can tell you a little bit more about the menu, but seafood focused, and the pairing of martinis, cocktails with oysters is something that his customers are really asking for. The reason that he didn't apply for full liquor initially was that the West 10th Street Block Association requested that he apply for beer and wine only, which he did at the time. I think it was kind of a trial run. He has reached out to them again, and I believe that there's a representative here tonight, but they indicated their support for the application and the change in class. Christian, is there anything you want to add?
No, we're actually. Hi, I'm Christian.
Hi.
I'm Christian Rowan. We're actually 11 seats to the bar, just by space. But yeah, so really switched from beer and wine to having martinis, cocktails at the bar. It's I think it's kind of a natural thing for seafood towers, caviar, martinis. They'll go kind of hand in hand. So just try to have more of that, more of that offering for our guests.
Okay. So the only other thing I had was I noticed that the hours before the stipulations were 11 to 11 and then 11 to 12 Thursday to Saturday, and now it says 11 to 12 Sunday to Thursday and 11 to 2 Friday and Saturday?
So yes, and then Robin and I have spoken about hours, so just requesting a 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. on Friday, Saturday, and
Okay.
then 12 a.m. on the rest of the days.
Okay, all right. I think that's it for me. No, okay. And we have, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Robin, are you here to speak on it?
Sorry, could I just add one thing?
Yeah, sure.
On the hours, we would like 1 a.m. on Thursday if possible.
Okay, well, that's, Robin, go ahead.
Robin Felsher, West 10th Street and Greenwich Avenue neighbors. He's agreeing to 12 o'clock, not 1 o'clock.
Okay,
As long as he adheres to the previous stipulations for the beer and wine, we will support this application. He's been a great neighbor.
okay, great, good to hear. Okay. I think that, anybody else? No.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. The next one is going to be Clio Restaurant LLC at 621 Hudson Street. This is an on-premise for a restaurant. I know, but just in case, if you didn't bring it, we'd need it.
Hi, everybody. My name's Anthony Carabal. I'm the representative for Clio Restaurant. I'm delighted to be with Hallie Chambers and Kipleen Green. They are the applicants going into this particular premises. Hallie and Kipleen have 3 other establishments with full liquor license, well, 2 with full liquor licenses, 1 with beer and wine. They have Montague Diner in Brooklyn Heights. They just opened up, done very well. They have Margot Brooklyn, and they have Apollo Bar. So they have liquor licenses. They have extensive experience in the industry. Hallie was a general manager for the Oberon Group, but that also had several establishments in Brooklyn. So they're proven operators, they're responsible operators also. This particular premises is on the small side. It has 20 tables at 40 seats. There's 1 bar. This is the prior Piccolo Angolo, 621 Hudson Street. They were there for quite some time. They had a very long run. And the hours of operation were agreed upon. We did appropriate outreach with Kate Bostock of Jane Street Block Association, and we agreed to an 11 p.m. closing during the week and 12 a.m. on the weekends, and recorded music only. We'd be delighted to address any questions the committee might have. Thank you.
Okay, my first question, is there a bar? Because it doesn't show a bar.
I stand corrected, there's not a bar.
Okay, and so the Jane Street Block Association did email, and someone was supposed to be here tonight, but they had a family emergency, so they can't be. So they just said that they support the application as long as it closes 11 p.m. Sunday through Wednesday, 12 a.m. Thursday to Saturday. There's no roadbed seating. There's no sidewalk seating on Jane Street. There may be sidewalk seating on Hudson Street. Sidewalk seating will close at 10 o'clock every night, and the music is background only. And they said it was a pleasure to meet you all. That's it. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions from the committee? And there's no patrons in the cellar. The cellar is just in here. They haven't. I mean, I think it's a 10-foot,
Yeah, it'd be 8
you'll
to
come
10
back to us
seats,
for
correct.
that, but you'll agree to close. What I've been doing with the stipulations is I just say it's not included in this application, but you've agreed to any future sidewalk seating will be on Hudson Street only. We'll close at 10 o'clock. You'll still have to file for the alteration, and then we can either waive your appearance or ask you to show up, but at least we've got the hours covered. Okay, is there anybody here on this application? I don't, no. Okay, Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good luck. That spot has been there, it's in my neighborhood. It's been there a long time. I was one of the first customers, so good luck on this. Okay, the next one is 63 Bedford Rest LLC at 63 Bedford. This is item C7 on the agenda. Did somebody leave an iPad up at the counter there? That was there? Okay.
That's fine. I think we're good. Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. I'm Joseph Levy. I'm here on behalf of the applicant for a full liquor license by way of asset purchase agreement transfer for 63 Bedford Street, the former Snack Taverna space. Space has been licensed for many, many years. This is a sale of assets. I have the principal of the acquiring company here behind me, who's going to say a few words about the concept in a moment. But before he does, his name is John Frazier. He's a Michelin-starred chef who actually cooked at this restaurant a very long time ago. So this is a nice full circle story here. I'll let him say a few words about the concept before I jump into the nuts and bolts of the application.
Hello, everyone. I was part of the transition from Shopson's to Snack Taverna. I was there back then. Oh, a few people knew it. Okay, good. Yeah, we're opening a neighborhood bistro, likely breakfast, lunch, and dinner, looking to become part of the community. Probably leaning towards affordable options with a little bit of range.
So John has been in the community before. He has a number of restaurants throughout New York City. He has been in this community board before with some great restaurants. This particular location is going to have a capacity of 45 total people, 9 tables, 20 seats, 1 bar with 13 seats, and 1 counter with 4 seats. This is background music only. It's a restaurant. There's no outdoor dining. It's 11 to 11 daily are the hours of operation. You see some outreach there as far as private events go. We're looking at 12 a year. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them. I know there are some individuals from the community here as well. Happy to cede the floor to them.
Okay. I don't think I have any questions. Does anybody on the committee have any questions? Okay, is there anybody here from the community? Okay, community members, come on up. But did you fill out please fill out speaker cards when you're done, so I do have a record. For the outdoor seating, what do you have any plans for the outdoor seating or no?
Explored what would be allowed there.
Right. You have to use the microphone. It does. It says it in the questionnaire.
No outdoor seating. We just put a placeholder in there.
Okay, so there is no
but there's no outdoor seating. In the future, if it's something that could work out, we don't want to give up our rights to it if anything changes. But as of right now,
it's
nothing
not
works for
permitted
us.
there and it's not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
John Fraser is a famous chef, and we're going to welcome him to the village. He has had several places here, and he'll be a great addition. The thing that we want to nail down, absolutely, as Joseph Levy just said, we need to nail down now and in the future that there'll be no roadbed dining is the thing. Obviously, on Bedford Street, even if they're granted a waiver on Morton Street, even if they're granted a waiver, we want a firm commitment that there will be now or in the future no outdoor sidewalk and or roadbed dining. Is that good with you guys?
Well, David.
I'm sorry, you're right. Sir, I'm sorry.
Do you have speaker cards? I do need everybody who's here, I need speaker cards. So when you're done, please fill out the speaker cards so I have them, because otherwise I don't have a record of who's speaking. Okay. Nancy Paisley.
Thank you, Donna. Nancy Paisley, also from the neighborhood. I agree completely with David Gruber. The issue with, the only problem with Snack Taverna in recent times has been their outdoor seating, which was a major problem. With the shed on Morton Street, which was not, well, I don't have to go into the history because they're not there anymore. This applicant has wavered and wishy-washy about maybe he will, maybe he won't. I agree with David. In order to support this application, we really need a firm commitment that in this tiny corner of a quiet part so far of the village, there will not be any outdoor seating. And I just want to add that Mr. Fraser has in fact been in this neighborhood before. He was for a while a partner with Massimo Lasardi at the Loyal at 289 Bleecker, which had all the problems were Lasardi's problems, okay? It wasn't Mr. Fraser's problem. But that is not an association that recommends itself to the neighborhood. So we would really like a firm commitment about nothing, never outside. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi. Well, okay. I'm Andrea Meyer. Again, from 65 Carmine, and I wish you guys all the luck. I really do. I would also like a commitment of at least no roadbed dining. It's just, those are the two most narrow streets. Besides that, Snack Taverna was great. I assume you guys will be too.
Okay. Thank you. One more? For this one? Okay.
I just want to say that I had the opportunity to meet with JP, who is an associate of John's.
Can you just state your name? And yeah.
My name is Risa Tillen. I'm at Morton Street. I would also say that there is no space on Morton Street or on Bedford Street for extra seating. The interview that we had with JP was absolutely spectacular. He explained everything, answered all our questions to a T, and we're really going to be happy to have you all, and not going to talk to you, to have them in the neighborhood again.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, that's it.
All right.
No roadbed now.
So as, what'd you say?
Go ahead.
I said, as I mentioned earlier, we're very happy to commit to no outdoor space at all at the moment. Never like to give up rights in the future. It's obviously something that the community has mentioned is important to them. So it's something that we want to entertain here. When we were putting together this application, there was an internal conversation about whether we should try to extend closing hours on the weekend to 12 instead of 11, because it's not a huge space, and we decided to kind of default to what was there. Maybe this is an opportunity to have that conversation. I know historically I'd like to do this in advance so we can get our outreach that way and things like that, but is there a conversation to be had here about giving up rights to the outdoor space in exchange for maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight?
Outside? Do you want to, with the people that are here, would you like to just go outside in the hallway
We
and talk
could.
to them? And
I'm
then
okay with
come
that if you
back
guys
with
are.
us? I'm fine with that. I'd rather, they're here to participate in the conversation.
100%.
I'd much rather have them do it than us do it.
Great, so let's.
Yeah, why don't you
if you
go
guys
out in the
are
hallway?
okay to go
and
outside, we'll come right back.
Go out and come back in. I'll go to the next application and then call you right back. Okay, so then the next one is, let's see. Okay. See, now we go downhill. 142 West 10th LLC, no, yeah, 142 West 10th LLC, on premise tavern. Is anybody here for that? This is C9.
Hi again, Anthony Caraballo for the representative Jennifer Sue. You know her in the community. She has Fish Cheeks quite some time, and she has Bangkok Supper Club. She also came back to you for a third time. She expanded Fish Cheeks a couple of years ago to the space next door. She's a really good operator, responsible operator, similar to my prior clients. Jennifer also has a Fish Cheeks in Williamsburg. She recently launched and opened. That's doing very, very well. So this space is located at 142 West 10th Street. It's a small place, basically 43 seats, 23 seats with 15 tables, 20 seats at the bar. The hours of operation, which we'll discuss with Ms. Felcher, who's here, according to our outreach. The hours of operation are projected to be 2 a.m. closing on Friday and Saturday, and a 1 a.m. on Sunday to Thursday. This is more of a bar, not similar to her other establishments. It's a small space. The focus will be on a bar. It's a tavern on-premises license. There will be no outdoor seating. I would like Jennifer briefly to touch on the concept, what she wants to do here, and then we'll address any questions the committee may have. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Sisu. We're exploring this concept because our beverage director at Bangkok Supper Club recently just won a Michelin star for exceptional cocktail program. So we're aiming to do a very high-end cocktail bar. We have operation plan in place already in terms of, directing traffic and making sure that there's no line out the door. We want it to be very much a reservation-only space, and that's it.
Okay. I think previously what was there closed at 11 and 12. And I think the big issue is the hours, especially for something that's a cocktail restaurant with people drinking and then noisier. So is there any give before I have the community come up on your 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. hours? The other place closed at 11 and 12. What else is near there closes earlier? It was a restaurant, not a bar. This is residential.
I think for us, because it's only a bar and we can only operate during the dinner time, it was presented to us that there was a 2 a.m. Liquor license on premise. That's the only reason why we kind of
There
went
wasn't a
for
2
it.
a.m. liquor license.
Yeah.
If I could interject,
And you open at noon, so
Yeah.
it's not just dinner time.
The broker and the landlord presented to them that there was a 2 a.m. Well, obviously, we did homework and research, and there wasn't a 2 a.m. So,
The application was already in place. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll go to the community to hear from them, and then we can follow up. So do you have, community, come on up while he finds the speaker cards, and just state your name.
Hi, it's Robin Felshur again, West 10th Street and Greenwich Avenue neighbors. My building fronts on West 10th Street and directly faces this space, which has unfortunately been cursed, and there's been a turnover of restaurants over the last 20 years that I've lived there. A 2 a.m. close is totally unacceptable. I did negotiate in good faith to put stipulations in place to protect the neighborhood should this ever go to the SLA. The previous restaurant, Donna, as you had cited, had closed at 11 p.m. and 12 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Moody Tongue, which is up the block, closes at 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. on Saturday. I asked for a date that this restaurant would be closed. They would not commit to it. There is absolutely no relief that would be given to people facing this restaurant if you close at 2, and I I will not accept the application or support it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Leslie Clark with West Village Residents. I don't live as close as Robin does, but I do live on West 10th Street. And I went by and took photographs of this street and sent them to you. And I hope you received them to show you what a residential block this is. This block has Squad 18 of the fire department, a child care center, an ice cream shop, and a coffee shop. This is a bar. This is a 2 a.m. every night bar. It's DJ and live music bar. This is completely unprecedented on a street like West 10th Street. It looks straight at, right across the street from it is just a wall of residential windows. This is not the right place for this. And by the way, I do not agree with the notion that this is a small space. Robin is right. There's been many restaurants over the years, and I've been in a couple of them, and it's quite deep. It is not a small space. Quite a few people can fit in this place, especially if they're not eating. 2 a.m. having people pouring out of this place onto this street, I think is really just not acceptable. West Village residents would like you to deny this. And by the way, we did check, I'm sure you did too, 40 active and 9 pending licenses within 500 feet of this location. It's very hard for us to see what the public interest is here. We cannot support this. We would like you to deny it until it is really rethought and is made more appropriate for this location. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Catherine Renfrew. I'm here with my son, Kurt Rathke. We live at 142 West 10th Street. I'm an active member of the board and the president of the very small building of 4 residents. And so we would like to have a very collegial relationship with whatever restaurant is coming in. This is the first that we've heard about it. I saw it on a sign rather than having the landlord and commercial owner reach out to us through the managing agent that manages our building, which is the way that it has been presented in the past, where we had reasonably good relations with the managers or the restaurant owners. So this is a bit of a shock. We don't support a live DJ, live music, open till 2. We're very happy that we have an active community board, and for sure, please get my name if you ever need to talk again. But we want to have successful operators there. We want to encourage maybe a modification, and we would like to welcome them back if they're willing to live with some of the like more guidelines and make it a more livable experience for the residents. Above them would be one of Kurt's classmates who's going into the 5th grade, and a young boy who's going into the 2nd grade. So,
and you're in the building?
We live in the building, yes.
Thank you.
Nancy Paisley, I'll try not to repeat what other people have said. I too think this is a terrible idea. There has been a lot of turnover at this location, but it's always been a restaurant, sitting down at tables, having food, having drinks, with, of course, I believe it's had for a long time a full license. But to turn it into a bar with a very late night and a DJ and live music is just not appropriate on an essentially residential street. And I would ask that this be denied. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's it. Is there anybody else here on this application? Okay, go ahead.
We don't have anything to add. We just respect the community's position and their input.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is just R6 zone, so it's residential only. It's a non-conforming use. And somebody had brought up in the past that there was a significant break, and so the space shouldn't even be protected as a commercial use because there was a 6-year vacancy at the location. I think the law at that time was only 2 years, so that's one thing. When I look out at the Google Maps, almost all of the windows are ground floor residential. Is that correct? Yeah, so it's almost all, with a couple, maybe 1 or 2 other businesses that are on the block. I'm looking across the street. I mean, I don't know, that's just what I see. And then separately for Fish Cheeks, you guys that emphatically said you weren't participating in the open street, and yet you're participating in the open street and it's serving alcohol out there. So we had given you guys the opportunity to be included in that, and I don't see any change on that. So that's, yeah, but you didn't include it, the open street as part of your liquor license. You guys decided, you told us that you decided not to do it, and that you would only be doing the road. No, the roadbed. You said you're only doing the with the structure, because we, spent a lot of time asking you guys that stuff, and you said no, you weren't participating on the street. I mean, it's just what's in the emails that Mr. Caraballo had sent to us.
We promised that no, we would never go for the sidewalk, but the roadbed, yes.
No, but beyond the roadbed, you guys only said that you were in the roadbed structure, not in the open street. So, because we had worked with everybody on Bond Street to put it together, so that's just another correction.
I think it's a miscommunication. We'll rectify that with you.
Well, I asked you guys multiple times. It's not a miscommunication, because we had tried to help. But a neighbor on Bond Street had raised that issue to me because she was having some trouble with another place, and I had just pointed out, and I rather bring it up to you guys instead of having her make the complaint, because I don't think it's complicated to make that adjustment for us for here, but.
I guess, so you'll fix the open streets?
Yes.
Okay, and I guess,
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, okay. Wait, hang on one second.
Can you just, are there prices on here, or am I looking at the wrong one? There's no prices, right? For the drink
Please
menu?
use the microphone.
Food menu?
Just- I didn't.
The prices are going to be around 18 to 22 per cocktails.
And why do you need a DJ?
We're not trying to do anything. I think we want to have the option to do that. But I don't. We're never going to do like a ticketed event or anything like that. Again, I think we want this to be a very like upscale space where it's tailored towards the beverage director. Like we want to kind of, go forward with the Michelin star that she received, and we want to maintain that level of products that she has. So,
Thanks. Thanks.
The live music, same thing, right?
I'm sorry?
The live music, we had live music on here too.
Yes.
You still wanted that part of it too.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, problem is the hours. Okay. 63, do you want to return?
All right, we are all agreed. Midnight
What
close.
are we agreed on?
Midnight close Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 p.m. the rest of the week, and we'll agree to no outdoor seating now or in the future.
Okay. 12 a.m. Thursday to Saturday, 12 p.m. So, 12 a.m.
12 a.m.,
12 a.m.
12
11
p.m. 's not gonna work with our
p.m.
business
Sunday to
model.
Wednesday, no outside now or ever. Okay, great. I'm glad you guys could work that out. Okay.
Thank you.
What? Yeah. Okay. The next one is Ad Hoc Collective, 13 Christopher Street. This is B1. It's a tavern wine for a previously unlicensed location. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin Corngut. I'm the attorney for the applicant. This is an application
My
for.
first question is, where is the applicant?
So the applicant had a death in the family. She's in California.
Okay.
So she obviously regrets that she couldn't be here. We had postponed, I think this I think twice already. And I told her that I was going to be here for another matter and that I would do my best with the understanding that, you know, that you may want to speak to her next month.
Okay. Can I just ask everybody who's having a conversation to take it out to the hall, please? Go ahead.
So this is an application for a beer and wine license. They have been operating at 13 Christopher Street as a cafe with food since 2017. My understanding is that she did apply for a license in 2017 and just never pursued it because there were other, that she appeared before this committee in 2017, but never actually filed the application. The premises is small, has about 17 seats inside. The closing hours will be 10 p.m. Sunday to Thursday and 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. There's a retail directly above, and my understanding is that the apartments in the building are essentially, they've become kind of, they're not official NYU dorms, but they have been chopped up so that they're mostly NYU students who live there for a year at a time, and there's a great turnover, so there's no kind of permanent residence in the building. She's currently open until 5 p.m. The goal is just to also serve dinner. We've included a sample menu that she put together, which obviously has alcohol on it, but they're not serving that now. But that's the kind of food service she wants to do, and it's really just you know, an effort to bring one kind of unique food, but also just to extend the hours that they're able to operate in the area and have another seating for dinner.
Okay.
When I'm looking at the previous application, she's not on there, and instead it was Marikit Ingala.
Marikit is the manager. Kim is her sister. It's two sisters.
Okay, because at the time, Marikit was the only principal listed.
I'm not sure what happened, what
And
transpired.
that was for Ad Hoc Collective LLC at that time, so.
I mean, Marikit is the one that's there every day. The legal ownership is her sister, Kim.
Okay. Yeah, they do. And there's no outside.
No outdoor seating, no.
And so I am going to ask about the outdoor seating they've been having on a daily basis.
At this location?
At this location on the sidewalk next to the curb. So not only shouldn't they shouldn't be having it, but they certainly shouldn't be having it next to the curb. And it's on a daily, continual basis for years, which is one of the complaints we've gotten from the community from a number of people. So I think one of the concerns from everybody is not having any outside because she's been operating with the outside out there. And she's not here. And I would say for me, I'm just speaking for me personally, I would like to see somebody operating the way they're supposed to be operating before we go ahead and give them the a liquor license, because then it means everybody's drinking out on the sidewalk when they're not supposed to be out on the sidewalk. And it's a narrow sidewalk and a congested sidewalk. And I have a member that's on this committee that has emailed a bunch of letters, also in addition to the public. So that's the one thing I wanted to just raise.
I can't speak for my client, but I can say that we'd certainly entertain a stipulation that they won't serve outside.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't be having any seating outside. They've got metal chairs and metal tables that they're bringing outside every day on the curb, and it leaves I mean, from the photos, it looks like there's about 2 feet for people to walk through. There's a tree pit right there. It's not in front of their place. I think it's in front of the one right next door. But I mean, it's not respectful to people that have to use the sidewalk, and the sidewalk isn't theirs. They're below grade on top of everything else. They're not even adjacent to the sidewalk. So, okay, we have members of this committee. Go ahead, Cormac.
Yeah, for the record, I want to add, so I do remember this application from 2017. And there was also, I remember, a problem with it at the time having to do with the bathroom, which at the time could not be, I believe, accessed without going through food prep areas. I mean, it looks to me from the map that you've corrected that. Is the bathroom now sort of accessible to patrons?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And I'm not sure that's ADA compliant, but then since the whole place can't be accessed, I'm not sure how much that matters.
Okay, anybody else from the committee before I go to the public? I'll go to the public. I have Leslie Clark and Nancy Paisley.
Leslie Clark with West Village Residents. Clearly, I think that I sent you an email. I assume you all received it, showing the daily use of the sidewalk on the curbside, right by a tree pit, barely a section able for anybody to walk by. I am not at all assured by him saying we won't serve outside, serve anything outside, have any place to serve outside, not alcohol, coffee, anything outside. There is a tiny sidewalk here. And what I see is if you look on the Manhattan Borough President's map, it shows a 12.5-foot sidewalk, of which 5.5 feet is the stairwell. Therefore, you have a 7-foot sidewalk, of which there is a tree pit and then the abundant furniture that they have put out. There should not be any outdoor use here at all. And as I will say, as I have said many times, this is a previously unlicensed space. We do not need more licensed spaces in this neighborhood. The numbers here are 37 active and 6 pending licenses within 500 feet of this location. This is only to boost their profits. It has nothing to do with helping the public or providing them something that they can't get elsewhere. There's lots of places to drink. We hope that you will deny this application. Thank you.
Nancy?
Nancy Paisley. I also oppose this application for the reasons that Leslie has articulated. This is a previously unlicensed space. It's in the basement. We understand that the building is occupied by young people who may or may not be of drinking age, but it's very tempting to have a bar in the basement. We've seen what's happened to West 4th Street. This is not West 4th Street. There has been the tables at the curb on the sidewalk since forever. They even made Brian Pape's Rogues Gallery in Village View a couple months ago, and nobody took any notice of it. They're still there. And I think it's very troubling that none of it's not clear who is operating this place or who is the proprietor, but none of them are here. And I'm with all due respect to the representative, I think we need a commitment, a firm commitment of some kind from the people who are really running this place that they're going to clean up their act before they are given the privilege of a license in a neighborhood that's already oversaturated. So I would ask that this, I'm not sure what the procedure is, but that this committee really take the position that you can't act on it until you have a living, breathing proprietor here who can answer to some of this stuff and make some promises on behalf of herself and the establishment. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here? I don't have any other speaker cards. Okay.
In light of the objections raised, I think if it's okay, we'd prefer to be held off to August.
Oh.
I think that, and I only speak for myself, but knowing some of the other board members, I don't think that we would necessarily have a problem entertaining this application. We have in the past, but you have roughly 30 days between now and the next meeting to visibly see if they can follow just the basic rules with the outdoor dining. And we also had the same issues with the general manager's other location with seating going down one of the side streets. I don't know if that's the same issue. So this is not a new concept as far as following these rules. So it's an opportunity to correct it when you revisit that these may no longer be issues, right? So I think that you've heard everybody. I think that might
Yeah, understood.
be
I'll
helpful.
relay all the concerns to
Yeah.
my client. I'm not,
Because we do have a past agreement, and they never pursued it, or followed it. So I think there's a pathway here, but it's just, the ball's in their court.
understood. Thank you.
Okay, so you'll send the office something?
I'll send
Yeah,
an email.
okay, thank you. Okay, the next application is going to be 16 Bedford Corp. Doing business this area. This is an alteration to add roadway, and we're going to hear Good Luck Ribbon Corp. Doing business as Arisi at 14 Bedford, also to add roadway, and 230 Bleecker Corp. Doing business as Katana at 21 Bedford, also to add roadway. I'm saying them all because they're all on the same block. They're all right there next to each other. The issues all have to do with all three of them. So as much as they're individual applications, I think it's a good idea to look at it at its entirety. Yeah. And just, this is items E 2, 3, and 4. In that order.
Nothing new.
I guess, I'm not sure how to, yeah, I think, why don't you present all three, and then we'll discuss them as all three, because
Okay, so Cantana is at 21 Bedford Street. We have 6 tables, 12 seats. We have a 7'6" width and a 15-foot 1-inch roadside. At Blue Ribbon Corp., which is Aricia, we have 6 tables, 12 seats. It is a 6'6" width and 12-foot 5-inch length. At Area, which is 16 Bedford, we have a 5-foot width and an 18-foot length. That has 8 tables and 16 seats. All these seats and tables are the maximum. We usually wouldn't get that many. We did sign all 3 stipulations that the community board sent us last month.
which said that you'll close at 10 o'clock, and there's no exterior music. Everybody will be seated. There's no host stands, bus stations, or service stations.
Yes.
Okay.
These have been operated during COVID also.
Okay. So the first, these are all, 2 are right next to each other, and 1 is across the street,
Yes.
pretty much. So how does this work with the FDNY waivers, which said in a letter that was put out on July 30th that they had to have a minimum spacing of 6 feet between them and be offset of 15 feet in the direction of travel, and any of that? Do we have any answers on that?
That was a memo that was leaked. That I don't believe they're
memo that
going
was
by that.
done. It was a memo that was created.
I don't believe they're going by that, just for the fact that they did give us waivers. What they did on one of the cafes, of course, they start out at 8 feet. One was put down to 6.5 feet. and the other one across the street was made to be 5 feet, which satisfied them to give us waivers. They've all been issued waivers.
So do you have any idea how they determined which one was which width? I mean, it's the same owner for all three of these, so that makes it a little bit easier.
Yes, so judging from what I've seen in other places.
But do you have any idea how they did that?
It seems like the first one that filed got to 6.5 feet, if it was a waiver situation, and if there was anything across the street or close by, they got the 5-foot one. That's an assumption I'm making, just from what I've seen.
So then one of them you said has 7.5 feet. The 230 Bleecker Corp., 21 Bedford, you said has 7 feet 6 inches. So I thought that anything that was getting a waiver was down to 6 feet.
The other two got a 6.5. This one got and the other one got 5. This one had a 7.5, unless they changed it. That's what I have right now.
Okay. I'm sure there will be other, okay, so then the next comment is the road beds that they're constructed. Right, correct, okay.
Yes.
So did DOT approve those structures?
They haven't been inspected yet because they don't have a license. So once you get the actual license, not just a conditional approval, they'll come out and do an inspection. If it doesn't meet their standards, they'll issue a car on it.
So I'll just start reading some of the problems that I think there are. That they're supposed to be water-fill barriers are allowed unless an alternate fill material is permitted by New York City DOT. So was this permitted because these aren't water-filled?
If they're not water-filled, the DOT will come back, make their assessment. If they don't, they believe that.
So you're not that's not being checked before you go and buy all these materials to see if they're compliant with the program?
Nope.
Okay,
They're
because
waiting until you get a
the
license
barriers
and they
must
come
be
out.
filled to a minimum of 150 pounds per linear foot.
That's if you have the water barriers, yes.
Well, okay, you would think they'd still have to kind of maintain that. A 4-inch wide reflective strip must be included along the outward facing side of each barrier. Is
That
that
would be
4 inches? What
required
you
by
have is 4 inches?
Did you do
Okay.
that?
The flooring is supposed to be removable. It looks like it's bolted in with screws. What is it bolted to?
Does it lift up? The platform lifts up? Platform lifts up?
So it's bolted to something that then that whole thing lifts up. The strips are bolted, the whole thing lifts up. Okay, and then I think the one, I guess it's probably 14 Bedford is on top of ventilation grates. That's not permitted. They're supposed to be 3 feet from it.
Is there a ventilation grate?
Yeah, they're right on top of the ventilation grates. I could show you the photograph.
Okay.
It can't be there. That whole road bed has to be shortened so that it's 3 feet away from that.
Okay.
And then there's not supposed to be any vertical screening. So up above the lower part, on the sides, there's this wooden, solid wood screening. The only place that you're supposed to have screening, if it's aside from what's on the base level, is on the roadside.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be transparent,
Yes.
which the wood is not. So that's not supposed to be there.
Okay.
That's it with my
I
rant.
wasn't involved in the construction.
Right, I
Let's go
just,
through
it's
about
not, I would think that before it's constructed and all that money is spent, one would check to make sure that it's going to be compliant with
Yes.
DOT wants, because if a car hits this doesn't look like it's the same sort of thing as, oh shoot, as the 150 pounds per linear foot barrier. I'm not an engineer, I'm just
Okay, yes.
saying that, so.
So once. So they're, what I'm saying is they're built with iron, but that's going to be something the DOT's engineering department would have to approve.
Okay.
Yes, they're letting people build these things, and they're coming out afterwards to make a determination on whether it is good or not.
Okay, Carter,
think they
I'm
were in
sure.
more of a
I think the question is that we've had is, first of all, there's no guidance, number one. Our conversations with the liquor authority, they agree. They want to know what the guidance is. DOT is not providing that. So that's number one on having these on narrow streets across from each other. And that's problematic. And I think that that's an issue of public safety. And we've been told these are only being looked at individually, not holistically. And that's the problem on these narrow streets like Bedford Street. The memo was provided, it wasn't leaked. I mean, that's normal, regular things. Whether they choose to follow it or not is a different story, but they've highlighted all those issues in their open questions. And I think everybody wants to understand this better, but nobody's responding to explain it. And then on
agree.
top of that,
I get a little by little.
and on top of that, the design doesn't follow the rules from the safety perspective of being hit by a vehicle, which is an increased risk on a narrow street. So there are all these open issues, and you guys didn't follow the design guidelines that are published by the city. So we have all these open issues that
Well-
it kind of, I mean, all of them together in a series of 3 applications, where normally it's just one issue.
So what I've had with a few other people that actually got their license, the DOT came out to them. They either issued a car because there weren't water-filled barriers, and the construction elements were given to the engineering department that would make the decision on whether it complies.
I just know from when we had conducted a walkthrough in a different area with Penny Ringel, who oversees the outdoor dining, he had said, these are not compliant. That was his comments on a similar structure to this. And that was his immediate comment. He said, we haven't approved any of these. And it was, you know, one of the shipping container style build outs, which is different, but not different. So I haven't heard anything since then, but at some point, somebody has to put it all together and explain what's happening, right?
Sooner or later.
Yeah, and so that's puts us in a tough spot.
I think this was something that was rushed out of DOT because they were getting bad press about not approving any of these. They sent out conditional letters of approval and people started building things.
And then the other thing I'm going to say is the stipulations that we have signed that your doors are supposed to be closed. The doors aren't closed. Your door going into your premises is supposed to be closed. All 3 of them, they're supposed to be closed at all times, and they're not closed at all times. So they, especially on a day like today when it's like 100 degrees outside, you're not, aside from any stipulations, I think there's an air conditioning law that if there's air conditioning on, you're not supposed to have your doors open. So that's another thing that doesn't have to do with the road bed seating. Anybody else from the committee have anything before I go to the public? Okay, public members on this one. It was supposed to start raining at 9. I was trying. I don't think so.
Hi. I had what I was going to say written down, but you threw me off a little bit based on what just happened. No, in a learning way. My name is Mary Ann.
Okay.
And I wrote, unfortunately, the sheds were approved because of an FDNY waiver on this very narrow residential block. But now I learned that apparently the sheds that are there are apparently too big and over a grading. So that even adds to what I just said. And what you just said, the indoor liquor license stipulations were that all 3 doors would be closed at all times for all 3 locations. All 3 locations keep their doors open. 21 Bedford also keeps the basement hatch open with an orange cone in front on a very narrow sidewalk. And I sent pictures to you guys earlier. 14 and 16 Bedford have had tables set up on the sidewalk at times. Today, on a day like today, they do have their doors closed because it is 90-something degrees. But when it's a nice day, they have their doors open, and then it's a stipulation for the indoor license. So for the liquor license to be approved, I asked that the closing be at 9 p.m. All 3 restaurants keep their doors closed at all times like they're supposed to, and the basement hatch at 21 Bedford be closed and no tables on the sidewalk. Also, I think they're supposed to be ADA compliant, which they are not, and they do not have removable floors. When they said they do, the only way they could do is pick up the whole shed. There are no removable floors. They are nailed down. And there are no barriers. I know you're saying about water barriers. There's no, if a car hits that shed and you're sitting there eating, I wouldn't want to be sitting there eating. And I'm not sure of any other items that they might not be compliant by. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, Leslie Clark with West Village Residents. I will just be brief. I went by on Sunday. Yes, every door was open. I took photographs of the floor of each 3 sheds. They were all bolted down. The hatch was open. What you have here is a really unfortunate situation where FDNY decides to create a cluster of sheds on a narrow street. It is a very dangerous situation. We cannot imagine why they would do this. They have done it. They've also created a situation in which you have a cluster pocket of noise right in the middle of a residential street. We are asking that you have closing at 9 p.m. to reduce the group sound that comes out of these places, which I heard when I went by on Saturday night. It's just too loud for this residential street. And as for the construction that's not compliant, I find this simply mystifying. I have the rules sitting on my desk. I can read them, they can read them. The idea that they're going to find out in the future what was published in April of 2024 is ludicrous. The fact that they just went ahead and built sounds a lot like what happened in this city in June of 2020. We'd hope the Wild West days are over. It appears they're not over on Bedford Street. There's no reason why they can't read the same rules that everybody else does and do it before the DOT comes by. Thank you.
I'm Andrea Meyer from 65 Carmine Street. I'm not going to repeat what everyone said, but it's all true. Bedford Street is the sidewalks are narrow, the street is narrow, and you know, I'm thinking the FDNY approved, obviously, as you said, these sheds separately, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe this is laughable, but restaurants could be responsible themselves, and to the community. We people here from the community, we've met with 2 different restaurants who agreed to not have sheds. Okay, we've made agreements with 2 restaurants in our area, and we like these people with Ya. We just did it with the people who are going to change at 63 Carmine. We've talked to restaurant owners, and they've come along, and we've agreed to things that work for the community, and the restaurant can live with it. Perhaps this restaurant, I don't see what can follow the rules, come back after they follow the rules, and then ask again for what they might want. I don't see why they should get a liquor license now. And perhaps on their own, talk to the community, take down one of the sheds, take down 2 of the sheds. I mean, that's the sensible thing to do on that street. And I think the owners know that and the lawyer knows it's absolutely insane. I'm encouraging restaurants to talk to the community for whatever good that does.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here on this application? Okay.
That's all we have to say.
I think, anybody else? Anything?
Unless you have other questions for us?
I don't think so.
Okay, all righty, thank you.
Oh, yes, there was one other thing. Also, your stipulations had no outside. So you also have to file a change in method of operation to have any outside aside from the alteration.
Take a look at them. It's the old ones?
Yeah, I mean, because, yep, we'll not have a sidewalk cafe now or in the future.
Take a look at it.
Okay. Okay, the next application is Francis Lewis LLC, doing business as Anton's at 570 Hudson Street. This is item E14.
I am Nick Ander, the owner-operator of Anton's on 570 Hudson, and we're looking to get approval for our outdoor seating area, which we had prior to COVID, but then once the new DOT regulations came in place, we made some alterations to fit the DOT requirements. We have 13 tables on Hudson Street and 4 on 11th Street, and we've agreed to the stipulations to close at 10 p.m. outside, no host or bus stations outside, and no speakers or TVs outside, and all patrons would be seated outside.
Okay, so there are no more bus stations outside?
No more bus stations outside, and I actually did put a picture of the outdoor seating on the back of those applications that shows no bus stations outside.
All right. And then there's no seat under the fire escape anymore?
No seat under the fire escape,
Okay, and you're away from the Siamese connectors and the 5
Correct.
feet on 11th Street?
Correct. Yeah, and
From
the
that
pictures show
building
that as well.
entrance?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I think, and you had the Sidewalk Cafe previously, but only on Hudson?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, does anybody from the committee have anything on this? Is there anybody here from the public on this application? Okay, okay. I think that's it. Thank you. Anton's. Okay, the next one is Slicehaus LLC, doing business as Slicehaus at 30 Carmine. Hi.
Hello, my name is Tatiana. This is my partner Agostino. We are speaking on behalf of Slicehaus, a new pizzeria to-go place. We won't be having any seating indoors, no seating outdoors either. Very straightforward to go, come in, get your slices, and make your way out. We plan to offer canned beer and wine just to complement the experience. And we're really hoping to bring an artigianale experience to this community. It's a family-owned business, and we would like to extend our family to the community as well.
Okay, so it's strictly to go.
Yes.
I don't think that's permitted. I don't think that's allowed. I don't think you can sell alcohol only to go. I think we had another application last month that only had outdoor seating and didn't have seating inside. And I had emailed the SLA and said, is this allowed to have seats outside? So there was service outside, but not inside. And they said, no. I mean, to go drinks, you can do as a compliment to if somebody's in there eating and they're
Well,
or
we
they're
do
getting
have a
it
shelf.
to go.
We'll have shelves for people to stand in the location and have their slice. We just won't have any actual physical seats for people to be sitting in. So we will have a space for people to eat within the premises, but standing.
Yeah. But it's like you're getting a okay. Okay, does anybody from the committee have anything?
And I will say one of our partners has been in the restaurant business for 40 years, operating locations on
Where's-
the Upper East Side. Bella Blue Restaurant, Baronda Restaurant, Ciao
Bathroom.
Bella, Perle. So he has quite an extensive record for the past 4 decades of being a responsible.
But this is a totally different, how do you get to the bathroom?
The bathroom won't be available to patrons.
How?
It won't be available.
So you need
So
to
you
have a
won't be able to
bathroom.
have a license. You require.
Okay.
It's a law, it's the law.
New York City does not require a patron bathroom for less than 20 seats.
Okay.
But the liquor authority for any license requires a patron bathroom.
So if we're
And
able
so your
to-
bathroom is behind the counter?
If we're able to make that accessible to patrons and get the right permits and paperwork in, is that something, a conversation that can be
Well,
had?
you'd have to separate it entirely from the kitchen work
Yeah.
area so people can't
Right,
reach
we
into
would
that.
just
But
create
that's not what,
another-
but that's not what we have in front of us.
I understand. But
So-
if we are able to make any changes prior, is that a conversation we can then entertain?
I mean, I think, I mean, not speaking for Donna, but generally our standard response is you're always welcome to come back with,
Because I'm pretty sure in the layout, the architectural layout, let's see.
What are the hours?
We're opening from 11 to 11.
Yeah, no. I mean, you need to have the bathroom. We already have one license that it doesn't have a bathroom that's supposed to have a bathroom, so. Yeah, I think you should look at figuring out the bathroom situation.
Okay.
And we should check to see if you can.
Do you have the architectural plan? Because I think that the ones that we submitted show that the counter will have access. We recently were considering perhaps not having that available, but in the plan that we've submitted, there is access to the bathroom.
I mean, the old floor plan had access to the bathroom when it was a seated premises. There were seats.
the issue is you don't have, your service area isn't walled off from where patrons walk through. So you have to create a division.
That's fine.
From the kitchen area. So, but I mean, you have no seats. I mean, this has a number of other issues as well, but that's one. I mean, you already said you're not going to have a patron bathroom. So, I mean, this whole design obviously is centered around that,
Well,
and not having access, so.
Per this conversation, since the plan in place does give access to the bathroom, that's something that we could just retract because we haven't finished the
Well, the
construction
plan in
yet.
place doesn't give access to the bathroom because you have no dividing area from your area where you prepare food.
So my question is, if we were able to create a counter that divided that space, which is very much a possibility, and we would get the proper architectural designs and renderings in, is that something we may entertain and move forward with?
I think what you need to do is we evaluate what's in front of us. And
Right.
so if you want to come back with that, you can come back with that.
Okay.
But that's not what's in front of us.
Okay. So all that's missing would be a partition between the working space.
Well, and the fact that you have no seats, I have to check on that because you're basically selling alcohol to go. That's the only thing you're doing. I just don't know that I'd have to check.
perhaps the applicant should consult like an attorney, an expert in what would be needed for the application.
Sure, that's not a problem. I mean, we're not trying to create
No.
any kind of
No, I know, it's just,
disruption.
so I think you should just decide whether you want to withdraw this application or whether you want to lay this application over.
Is there a way to amend it? Can we amend and?
You can lay it over.
Sure.
And say that you're not going to proceed with send the office something that asks to lay this over and says you will not file your application with the liquor authority until you come back to us.
Sure. Okay. Great, so we'll come back with that. Great, okay.
Yeah, there's three issues. One is the no bathroom, and the you don't have any seating, and then everything is to go. Now, I think it's pretty clear that to go does work. It just, when it's all or nothing, we not had that kind of, so this is a little new to us as well.
Okay.
So I think we would probably want to look into it a little too ourselves, so just to give guidance as well.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's something along the lines of, a Joe's Pizzeria that doesn't have any seating. It's just a standalone kind of place.
Yeah.
I understand.
And then,
there's another place called Lindustry in the neighborhood that does, and they do not have seating either. So we were thinking that, that is also landmark. Yeah,
no, but
yeah, please do.
the lack of a bathroom, it's just a little different. This is we've never had an application like this one.
I understand,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah, what? Okay. I know the chair needs to keep one of these, but if anybody has extras of these that they turned in, I suggest it be returned to the applicant. There's some sensitive information here. You may not want copies floating around.
You've sent everything. Well,
Yes,
all of
we
this
have.
is in the office, so you can have,
Yeah. So you may not want these.
That's fine, we'll collect them, thank you.
I think that, yeah. Go.
For industry, they did apply to us with a dining area and a seating area.
Agostino is the head pizza maker at Lindustry at the moment.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you what's on the diagrams that they're licensed for. So.
They might not be in, I can't speak on their behalf.
They may not be complying with what they're supposed to be doing, but they had a diagram that showed seating, and that's what they sent to the liquor authority.
Because I worked there from the day one.
Okay, well,
I mean, I'm looking at what they applied for.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's, Artichoke Pizza is more of an example of McDougal. They no longer have beer and wine. They improperly were issued a license. They don't have it anymore. I mean, Joe's doesn't have a license. Almost all the to-go pizza places don't have
license
beer and wine. The ones that do are the ones that have seating. Lindustry may have been too busy that they chose not to have seating, but that's what they applied for.
Okay, I
So.
would never speak on their behalf. Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you. What, did you want? You need to come up to the microphone. You have to, but you still have to come up so that it can be, everybody can hear it. It's recorded on the record.
With all respect, I misunderstood with my lawyer, and I brought only one copy.
That's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
It's
Okay.
okay.
I was.
Okay, no,
oh,
that's
thank you,
okay.
thank you.
Okay, I thought you were asking about this application. Okay, that's okay. You're here, you're waiting. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So make sure you email the office and tell them that you're laying over the application and that you're not going to go to the liquor authority until you come back to us. And does anybody up here have copies they would like to return so they don't have to waste more paper? Okay. Okay, the next application is Ubani Bistro, doing business as Ubani Bistro, 259 Bleecker. Good evening.
My name is Frank Palillo, and I have with me.
Good evening, Eteri Saladze.
Good evening, David Gogoreliani.
We are occupying the space previously known as Savta, I believe. It was a restaurant there for a while. There is one discrepancy on the application. There is no outdoor area. At first, we thought there was, or I thought there was, but there's not. It's enclosed in the back.
So, but
So the
it's the
question
back,
that says no outdoors and then says what it is, we say rear yard. There's no rear yard.
but it is a rear yard. Is it-
Enclosed.
But it's still a rear yard, it just has a roof on it,
And walls.
huh?
It's got a roof and walls.
It's a roof?
Yeah. It's not outdoors, it's memstick.
Okay. Solid roof, not a retractable roof. It
No,
has a real
solid
roof.
roof. Real deal.
Okay. Okay, hours? Is this a transfer or no?
It's not a transfer.
Okay,
Hours of operation are Sunday to Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., Thursday, 8 a.m. to midnight, Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. We currently operate, you want to speak about Ubani? Currently operate Ubani at,
At 11 to 11.
no, the address.
37A Bedford Street.
37A Bedford Street, we currently operate as Ubani.
okay.
Save you some time, no current plans for outdoors. If we do so in the future, we'll close at 10.
Well. Okay.
You were gonna say it, so I said.
No, I actually wasn't, because you have a whole rear yard that's enclosed and there wasn't outside sidewalk seating before, so I was actually anticipating that there is no sidewalk seating, so I wasn't going to be
There may not be,
anticipating
actually.
that.
It may not be, in all fairness.
Okay, so the hours. I think that Safa had hours closing at 10 and 11.
How do you know that? Because I couldn't find that.
Because I think I had stipulations that say that
Ah.
now. So, but also, let's see, 289 Bleecker closes at 12, Tecumbe closes at 12 and 1, 2 seems late. Just 11 and 12 seems much more reasonable to me. I'm just speaking me, but, so I'm wondering if there are any give on these hours
What, Friday?
before we go.
What, Friday? and Saturday? It's a wine and beer license. We're aware of that, right, guys? It's not a liquor license.
I know, it doesn't, I
I
mean,
mean, I hear you, but I'm just mentioning it's a wine and beer license.
right, I mean, I
Can't do it.
understand that.
Can't do it as long as the neighborhood church is 62 feet away.
I understand that, but it's still, it's 2 o'clock in the morning for restaurants, usually 11 and 12.
Restaurants that go out of business, like
Okay,
Safta.
we're not gonna, I have people from the public
They're-
here,
they-
and,
Oh, there's people from
and
the
your
public
other
here?
restaurant closes
I'd
at
be
what
happy to
time?
listen to the
11
people from the
o'clock?
public.
Hmm?
I didn't know you had people from the public. I'd be happy
Yeah,
to
no,
listen.
I do, so I'll go to them. Anybody from the committee before I go to the public? No, public. Right, that's what I said. Well, I have it printed out. Okay, come on up.
Hello, Kathy Arnson, Chair of the Century Village Block Association. So I have basically 3 issues. One was the hours, and I do agree with you, Donna, that they should be definitely brought back, especially since the one in Bedford is open till 11. So, you know, we could, you said 12, right, on Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday?
I just threw out 11 and 12, 12 and 1. I'm just not 2.
I mean, we would go with 11 or 7 days, but we'll do 12 on Friday, Saturday, if you agree with that. Because all the other, it is a residential street, basically, and the other restaurants in the area mostly close at 11, a few 11 and 12 on Friday and Saturday. The next issue was the sidewalk. The previous owner would put the tables and chairs on the curbside. And they couldn't put them under the window because there was a hatch there. So, you know, we just want to be sure that there's not going to be any tables on the curbside or under the window. It's also a very narrow, it's a 12-foot sidewalk, but with the 8-foot clear path and the ADA, really only leaves 1 foot for anything. And then the last issue was, I was wondering if that roof also is retractable. And we would request, if it is, not to open it because of the residents that live behind. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here on this one? Okay. Is the roof retractable or no? It's a solid roof? Solid.
Is it glass? Glass.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We presented an application to you with hours that we think will help us to survive. My clients are willing to adjust the hours till Friday and Saturday at 1.
And so 8 to 11 Sunday to Wednesday, 8 to 12 Thursday. and-
No, 8 to 1 Thursday, I believe. Yeah. It was 8 to 1 Thursday before. So 8 to 1
No.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's different. I mean, the latest in the area is Tecumbe, which is 1 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. And they're not even open. I mean, that was done a long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah. So that's it?
What?
11,
Were you suggesting something, Don? I'm sorry.
yes.
Does. Monday, Thursday to 11, Monday to Wednesday to 11, 12 on Thursday, Friday and Saturday to 1. I think that's being very, very reasonable.
Yeah, why don't you do midnight all 7 days? How's that?
Why don't you visit this application again in a year and a half when they can't make it here, and some other person has to come in? Got it. They gotta survive, Donna. It's wine and beer, it's not liquor.
They seem, there's
Profit margin is not what there is. If this was a liquor license, I'd say to you, fine. But they have to survive at this place.
Okay. Well, I just said that and they said no. So we'll have a business session for that reason, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
What do you want me to do? Yeah, why do we have a public interest statement?
Wine and beer license.
Oh, wait, and then the other thing it says in the public interest statement is that, wasn't there something in this one about? In the neighborhood, it's not saturated with liquor licenses, since I have a public interest statement, and there's 122 licenses within 750 feet and 54 licenses within 500 feet.
You're applying the wrong standard. I think you know that that's not the right
No,
standard.
but I'm just going by what's in the application. But why did you put that in the application?
It's part of the requirements.
Good answer, Frank. Okay. Okay, thank you. Next application, Cemgo Consulting LLC, formerly known as MP Nicholas Poulmentis or entity to be formed, doing business as Kythira, 32 Grand Street. With one application. That's okay. No, that's okay. Nothing's changed from what you sent in. It's the same as what you sent to the office, correct? Yeah, good. This is Cemgo Consulting.
It's Cemgo. They made a mistake with the N. It's Cengo. I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
Cemgo Consulting.
Let me correct.
And the restaurant is Kythira NP.
Yeah, okay, give me 1 second. And
Yes.
this is item C4. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm Nicholas Poulmentis. I am a chef. And I'm opening my first restaurant in 32 Grand Street. It's in the corner of Grand and Thompson. I'm requesting full liquor license. It's an indoor sitting. It's approximately 55 seats. It has a small bar of 8 to 9 seats. I'm gonna do Greek fine dining, modern Greek cuisine. That's all.
Okay, And your hours are?
So my hours, I'm gonna serve lunch and dinner and brunch. I'm requesting 8 to 12 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday and Saturday, if possible, to go till 1 o'clock. No music, only background. It's gonna be fine dining. It's gonna play radio, background music. That's all. And Sunday, I don't care if it's 10, 12. It's yes.
Okay, and then, how many private parties do you think?
There is no parties in that
No-
space,
no
no
private parties.
buyouts.
You're not gonna-
It's a small place. You can
Okay.
do that. And plus, it's a fine dining, and it's one space. That there is no space for parties or private events.
Even if somebody wanted to?
They can't.
buy-
It's
buy
a
out
very
the whole
small
thing?
place. It's
Okay.
two tops. The one space, if you see on the
Yeah.
diagram, it's the bar area,
area.
which has 2-3 tables and the hostess. And the other area has the banquets, and it's a front kitchen, open kitchen. So there is no way on that. That, and there is another also. I gave you the diagram from the architect too. It's
Okay,
in
so
the
so that counter is a low counter that opens into the kitchen? It's an open?
Yes, it's a front kitchen. Yes.
Okay, and then
And
is-
it has also 2 seats for chef tasting there
Okay.
in
look,
front of the counter.
More seats than that.
No, that's a bar if you are looking at that place.
This is
The
the
kitchen
bar.
is from the other side.
This is the kitchen?
Bravo. Yes.
Where you walk in?
Yes.
That's not the bar?
Sorry, may I come?
Please. So you walk in here. That's what I meant. So there's more seats though than 2. That's just not accurate is what you're saying, yeah. Okay, so yours is accurate. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Okay. And there's no outside?
Not for now, nothing. There is no outside. Because I think outside we have the, first of all, on the Grand Street, there is nothing.
Right.
And on the other side, we have to put the ramp for the.
Right.
But
So I don't think
I
you
don't know
can-
in the future if I'm going to request something from outside, maybe for a few tables. But for now, our goal is to open inside. That's the goal.
Okay. Okay, and I'm going to say the same thing here. The 1 o'clock is a little later than what's around there.
I have no problem even 12. It doesn't matter. I just put it for maybe late service. 12 o'clock is super fine for me. Super
So
fine.
you'd be fine closing at 12 o'clock 7
Yes,
days?
no problem. No problem.
Okay. Does anybody from the committee have anything on this?
I just say we have a lot in the past when it was previously a restaurant. There were a lot of complaints about this location, and it's sort of a trailing history that followed that operator for a long time. But this looks fine. I'm just saying that.
You mean Café Noir, sir, right?
Yeah.
I heard about the story when I got the place. They told me it was a legendary back then. But I'm not going to be on a cafe mode. It's going to be a fine dining Greek restaurant, for sure.
Is there a TV?
No TVs.
On your application, it says there's a TV.
No. Sorry, if there is, it's a mistake. I won't add the TV in the
You
restaurant.
won't have any TVs?
No.
Okay, great.
I hate TVs, actually. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe
Okay. Yeah, I know.
it's only for sports bars. It's going to be a fine dining. There is no way it's going to be a TV in there.
Okay.
That's a definite. You can take it out. I don't even
Okay, great.
consider it.
All right. Okay, anybody else have anything? And nobody here from the public on this one? Okay, that's it.
Thank you so
Thank you. So what
much.
happens is we send you the office will send you a stipulation form that lists your hours. It says, background music only, no DJs, no dancing, no security, no bottle service, bottles of wine and beer are fine, no bottles of tequila, whatever.
No, only for the bar. They can consume
Right,
in the
of
bar.
course, but yeah, but for drinks, you can have bottles
No,
for
no,
drinks.
it's a restaurant. We,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
so
don't want
that's
that
Yeah.
at all. We don't.
Okay, so that's it. So the
I
office
don't
will
want
send
that.
you a stipulation form, and then it's an agreement. It's an
Thank you
agreement.
so much. Thank you. It's my first restaurant, and I'm very, it's the first
luck.
time everything. So,
Good luck, the menu.
okay,
looks
thank
good.
you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you for.
Oh, here, you can take this back. I'm keeping the, no, you can keep that, yes. Okay, great, thanks. Okay. The next one is Real Muto, 117 7th Avenue South. This is an alteration to add sidewalk. Hello?
All right, good evening, everyone. Matt Borowick here from Helbron Levy. Today I'm representing Real Muto 117 7th Avenue South LLC for a alteration application to extend their beer and wine license to their newly approved Sidewalk Cafe, which will be located on 7th Avenue South. They are asking for 11 p.m. closing on weekends only, Friday and Saturday, and 10 p.m. all other days of the week. I do apologize for this late notice here. While the DOT application only had 14 tables and 28 seats, we will be applying to the SLA for 22 tables and 44 seats. Apologies, that was an error from our office on that one.
Approve.
So the DOT doesn't approve
Approve
specific
this.
table or chair counts. It won't extend the space. If you actually look at the diagram that I provided, those additional tables fit in nice and neat in the blank spaces that are there.
Where, I just want to understand where, because people have to be able to walk to them to serve people, and people need to be able to get in from within the perimeter.
Sure, yeah. So there will be several one-row sections. There will be additional tables there.
But are you pushing just a single row closer together? Is that what you're saying? you're
Yeah,
doing?
essentially. It's, I believe, 6 feet wide. Sidewalk cafe, so it should give plenty of space for the service aisle there.
Okay, so how many is it?
22 tables and 44 seats. Again, apologize for the error on behalf of the office.
Just for clarification, the photographs that you submitted is conforming to the plans that you've submitted, or is that different? I.e., does that, where the barriers are, does that match all the?
The barriers should be in place where we plan to have them. There might be a little bit of additional space, but we do have the clearance there to extend and keep that 10-foot clear path.
Because it looks like you have the tables and chairs seated to the inset, which creates that. It looks,
Right.
I'm just saying it looks like it's properly set up, just because that's the big question here, right? That's what everybody's
Right.
asking. So it looks like the photographs, it's set up in the compliant fashion?
It's set up in what the
Matching.
DOT
Right.
application was.
Yeah.
Again, we do have a little bit extra space there, which we kind of realized upon putting the setup together. So we're going to apply to the SLA for some additional tables and chairs.
Okay, and so when you came, I'm just gonna, you came in March 2023, you signed stipulations saying that any outdoor seating would close at 10. So that was then. Then I think though, you didn't apply to the temporary program.
No, they
No.
only opened about a
And
year
so-
ago.
But they have been seating out there on the sidewalk this entire time.
I don't know when exactly they started. On April 3rd, they did receive written permission from the DOT to
No,
start
they've been
setting up.
doing it all last summer. This has been going on, that's what I'm saying. It's not since April when they received permission. It's been all, I believe, last I have pictures going back. It's a love, but the seating has been all over the place that whole time, and that's not conforming to the regulations. And there was no approval in the seating. I don't know that it left the proper clear path or not, but I think that's I think one of the things that I would say is, based on all of that, I'd sort of like the seating to remain closing at 10 o'clock to see if they can comply with everything, since they've been not complying for the past time. And this has been laid over and laid over and laid over, and they had no right to even have any seating outside last September, October, November, December, March, anytime.
Okay.
So
So 10 across the board, and with the condition that they, operate.
everybody can
and
always come
comply.
back. I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
can always
exactly.
come back, but yeah, with the condition that they operate in compliance with the rules and regulations of the program.
So I'm understanding what you're saying, Don, is that you're okay with the increase in the seats.
Yeah.
But you'd like to see so we're,
Yeah, as long as the seats fit into
seats-
the area and
Okay.
all the service happens from within the area and
course.
all the patrons walk around from within the area, and the stipulations, which you're familiar, no music, no bus stands, no host stands.
Absolutely not, yeah.
All of that.
Say something. Hi, my name is Andrea Marquez. I'm the general manager.
Uh-huh.
I took over last September at this location over there. So if you want, I can show you on the map that you have in front of you where we fit in the tables.
Yeah, I'm
So-
okay. I mean, that's
okay.
fine. I'm okay with the, as long as you're leaving the clear path, and as long as you're doing, as long as you have the rope, and as long as you're doing all the service from inside that roped area, and all the patrons are moving back and forth inside that roped area, I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is everything you were doing without having applied to the temporary program. So therefore, you weren't really supposed to be doing anything, because the only people that could keep their sidewalk seating were people that applied to the temporary program. Otherwise, you had to wait till now. And you weren't doing that. So that's what I'm raising.
Understood.
Okay. All right, does anybody from the committee have anything? I'll go to the public. Go ahead.
I just want to get clarity, because I'm looking at the photographs. The awnings that are, say, for Chuza, right, for pizza, this is just a difference in awning marketing. It's all one space inside?
Yes.
Right,
And I
okay.
believe there's an endorsement in the works that we're going to
It's all
file.
one space inside. There is no separation inside that people can walk through. The
Oh.
two businesses just, it's pretty much only one business, but with two different concepts. That's why you see the difference on the awnings.
I'm just
Have you been-
confirming, because
yeah.
I've eaten there, so I knew what the space was like, but I don't remember these awnings, so I thought you were changing things. Thank you.
Like, one side is more the pastry.
So one side is more
takeout.
like a cafe, and
Yeah.
the other one it's more like a restaurant. And yeah.
Okay, let me go to the public. Leslie Clark, Nancy Paisley.
Yes, Leslie Clark with West Village Residents. We agree with the issues that you brought up, Donna. The fact is they were out there with no license at all for a long time. However, we approve, West Village Residents approves of this because they have, in fact, they've been good neighbors. They have talked to us. They wanted an OP, and we talked them out of it. We said, you don't need an OP. What you need to do is change the way you do the configuration inside. They did that. They have been more successful. We are very happy for them that they have been more successful the way it is. We would just like to approve it with the understanding that they will put up barriers, which they do not have now, barriers from within which their wait staff can serve without being on the pedestrian clear path, and that their doors are kept closed. And by the way, they have kept their doors closed, which is something that we asked for and that they have done. And I believe they agreed to that. So with all of those caveats, we approve of this. Thank you.
Okay. Nancy?
Okay, Nancy Paisley, and no surprise, I agree with Leslie. I'm very happy that this business has decided to stay with wine and beer, and that their business has nevertheless improved. I think that they have been emphasizing the restaurant end quite rightly. I'm very happy to see the hours cut back to 10. That would have been my only issue with this application. And I will say, just to clarify, both the diagram and the photograph are not what is there on the ground today. They have quite a few more, almost double as many tables, and the photograph is of just the reduced number of tables, which I think was posed for the snapshot, because I don't think it's ever been that way. They do have barriers in the form of some very nice planting boxes, but for an adequate barrier, they need to maybe double the number, because there's a box and then there's a long gap and then there's another box. It delineates the area quite successfully, but I would recommend that they either get some more of these nice boxes or put some ropes in between, and I think that would do the trick.
Okay.
I hope these people flourish with a wine and beer license and continue to be good neighbors.
Everybody needs to go eat there. Okay, thank you.
And close at 10 outside.
Okay. Anybody else? You have anything? No? Are we
thank
good?
you.
So we're good. So
Yeah.
you're just going to, however you close it off, just close it. If you can put ropes in between the flower
So,
boxes.
I mean, thank you for saying to us that we've been a good neighborhood. We're trying our best. And if you see that business, if you know our business, we've been closed always at 10. You know, closing at 11 is just to take some money when it's very busy day and be in compliance. We don't want to, you know, because it's busy and we're serving those people. And most of the time we're closing always at 10.
Okay.
So even on weekends. So
Okay.
it's just.
And happy to connect those barriers to make sure that's closed off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Okay, the next one is going to be MCD Hospitality LLC, doing business as Libera 10, 26 Greenwich Avenue. This is an alteration to add sidewalk.
I'll speak like this. I'm Michael Trouchard, owner of Le Baratin, MCD Hospitality, and I'm here to do an alteration for the outdoor seating for the Sidewalk Cafe. I signed a stipulation with West 10th in 2013, and I'm here to amend that and go over that with you guys.
Okay. So, you agreed to close at 10. It's 3 tables and 6 seats.
Yeah, it's 3 tables together, so it's 6 seats.
So one of my, I mean, I have photographs that don't match the diagram, but even just looking at the diagram, you need to have a perimeter.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna, I mean, I could put a rope, I was waiting to see what you guys, I'll do a rope, I'll put a rope right away.
You can put a rope or a stanchion and a black thing,
Yeah.
whatever, but everybody, but it needs to be there and people need to be accessing from inside of that. So I don't understand in this diagram how anybody gets to these far seats if anybody's in these seats.
They're good.
Or everybody's going to have to get up and move out and let somebody in.
So I'll come to you.
Yeah. Like if you want to sit here, what do you do? Because this is.
Oh, we're just gonna pull this, I mean, we have a little more room than it shows, the 7, we're just gonna pull the table and let them sit in. So if you, like, if I pull the table like this, you squeeze in and put it back.
And put it back?
Yeah.
Okay. Committee, anybody? Go ahead. I mean,
So there's obviously a long history here. How are things better?
A year ago, I was here, and I mean, I haven't put anyone out there. I mean, I went to a workshop, I don't know what it was, 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago with you guys, when I was called a bunch of restaurants. And I mean, I haven't put anybody outside. Robin had one issue with the lights. I took him down that night when the community board, when I left here, well, wherever the other location was. But I walked away from here saying I wouldn't send anybody, and I honestly didn't. And I've been trying. I mean, I don't know if Robin can attest, but no one's been sitting outside. And she's across from me.
That's just I mean, that's where we left it, right?
Yeah.
Just like, and then I think that when you look at the site plan, it had the tables and chairs all together, and then in the pictures that you submitted, I'm assuming this is sort of an illustrative picture.
Yeah, it's just
because it's
that's
not,
the plan. The guy who
no. So I'm just
filed.
saying that the tables and chairs, the way they're set up in the picture, actually isn't compliant to the design.
In the picture, no, but they're going to be stuck together. That was just sticking tables outside, and
Okay.
and the tables are actually smaller. Are those the round ones that are there? No. It's like yellow. It's like yellow
Two are
round tables
square
now.
and
They're
one
actually
is-
smaller than those square ones.
And then the other thing, just with all that, is just the big complaint is the noise.
Yeah.
And so, just wondering if you have these outside, how are you going to manage that?
With this,
I mean, that's what's going. I mean, that's the issue, right? That's
the outside.
beginning.
Yeah, I mean, during COVID though, it was, as people would say, it was the wild, wild west. I had people everywhere, and I'll admit that. But with literally six people outside, I don't think it's gonna. And it's a 10 o'clock shutdown. I mean, I'm not going to be here a year from now arguing at 10:15, 10:20, 10:30 pictures. Like it's a straight 10 o'clock shutdown.
I mean, I guess I'm just trying to elicit, to you to explain it so that people maybe reconsider what the past positions were. So that's why I was just
Yeah, but
giving you the opportunity of, like, so
and
how are you
I-
going to run it outside?
Yeah.
So there's not a problem. And just I'm not so sure. Just looking at some people here that it's just six seats, it won't be a problem.
Yeah.
So
I know,
a
and I
little
hear where
more
you're
to
coming
that
from.
than that? I mean,
But when I had 10 tops and 12 tops and 13 tops outside, and it's a different animal to handle than six people. I mean, and I'm there all the time. except
Yeah,
for
no, because I think it's just if people are just sitting out there, it's one thing. If
Yeah.
they're having a big party environment outside, and then people are coming from inside, outside, and engaging with people sitting there, it suddenly becomes a much bigger
Yeah, but
thing.
that's
So I'm just trying to figure that out.
if people start coming out and drinking with people, I'm going to get lit up by
No,
the
no, but
SLA.
even just
so,
talking to them, or people are coming out and smoking and engage. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's not.
And there'll be no smoking in the terrace anyway anymore. So it's like there'll be no.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
necessarily.
no, I agree.
have
I
to-
know. I got
I'm
you.
just trying to say, how is this
Yeah.
going to come
Yeah.
out different?
Yeah.
Because I think that's the concern, at least I see from the correspondence we've gotten. That's the concern. So I'm just trying to understand if there's a plan.
Well, there is
maybe
some
make
sort of.
it
I mean, there has to be some sort of plan, because otherwise it doesn't make sense to have outdoor seating. Before, we'd have people that would come and just have drinks and come in and have a dessert. We only have 6 seats now, so it's 99.9 of the people there are going to be eating. Like, it's people that are going to come eat. There's not going to be coming and just drinking. I mean,
And is that all table service, or do people bring their drinks out?
no. It's all table. Like, it's all be ordered food and
Just like
drinks. Yeah.
wait
That's a
staff
whole wait staff.
coming out. Okay.
I mean, during COVID, we could get away with someone could sit down and have a beer or a glass of wine, or
Right.
But with the limited seats we have, to make it worthwhile, people are going to come in, sit down, eat, and drink. I mean,
Because I think there's a lot of concerns. Obviously, I mean, this is
Yeah.
one of the more extreme
Yeah.
back and forth
Yeah.
situations that I've seen.
Yeah.
But I think, how do we move beyond the past?
Yeah. That's what I tried doing the past year. I mean,
Right. No, I'm just trying to ask.
I
'cause
tried to honor what I
I'd
told
like
you
to
guys.
see this move forward, because if
Yeah.
it's approved by the city, how do we just have a better
Yeah.
situation? And so, and I don't know if it's just, I'm just trying, what can the residents here rely on
Yeah.
as far as how this would be different. I know it's hard because this
yeah,
is the
I
one
mean,
meeting where the decision's made, but.
Yeah,
that's
no,
where
no,
we
and
gotta-
I
and
get
if there's a
where.
problem later on,
Yeah.
then what? Then we're back to.
Yeah, then
square
we're
one
back to
again,
emails and phone calls, and that's what I don't want. That's the number one thing out of this, is that I don't want to go back to that.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's
because
why I'm just, I
Ri-
don't know the answer here, I'm just trying to.
I respect Robin because she'll come straight to me or email you, but I've dealt with other people around there that like, I don't want to go back there. Like,
Well, that's
and
kind
I
of
go
what
to a
I'm
crazy
just-
place too, and I don't want to go there.
But
Like,
that's
it's-
kind of what I'm just.
Yeah, all I can do is give you my word
Stay
that.
away from that. I don't know the answer, so that's
Yeah,
why
no,
I just-
and
Wait staff only outside and everybody else?
and I would even say, oh, no drinking, just people have to
Just
eat.
People have
or-
to have a meal.
Yeah, well, that's
Okay.
my game plan.
Okay,
I mean,
so it's wait
yeah,
staff and
yeah.
anybody sitting outside.
Now,
is-
I'm not gonna, like on a Saturday brunch or Sunday brunch at 2 in the afternoon, some guy might just come and have an onion soup or a pizza, that's one thing. But at night, I can't give the tables up just for drinks. I mean, that's
Okay.
100%.
Okay. All right. Robin. At least tonight.
Thanks, Mike. Robin Felsher, West 10th Street and Greenwich Avenue neighbors, again. First, I want to thank Mike for adhering to the agreement not to put a sidewalk cafe outside. But I know that at least half a dozen people have sent emails about the noise, and I sent all of the 311 complaints, even after you pulled the sidewalk cafe off the street on September 7th. So we still had a noise problem from the restaurant. I think the concerns of the people in my building is that people will be waiting to get into the restaurant or waiting to get seated outside, and how are you going to control that? How are you going to control that?
You let
You
her
know,
finish.
that's
You
the-
talk to us and then you can
Yeah,
go back because, yeah, she was asking you, but.
I mean, people have not grown inured to the sound coming from La Barra 10, and look at the 311 complaints. You'll see they're scattered all over the place. There is an awning there, and if the committee considers even condoning this, the awning should be extended so it can mitigate some of the sound coming off the patrons. So I don't know how you create a win-win. If you have a bad history, which
Well, I mean, if it's only wait staff, so, and they have to order a meal, pizza can be a meal, but it's a meal.
and a 10 p.m. a hard
And a
close.
10 p.m. Hard close, meaning, meaning the chair's tied, roped up, so nobody can be hanging out there. Yeah. That's.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to injure your business. I'm representing people
Right, no.
who have sent in emails.
Yeah,
and it's like their voices need to be heard as well, and the data speaks to the complaints. So there's still an issue with noise coming from the restaurant. The doors being open.
Close the door, maybe. Okay, Robin, are you done?
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Do you want to ask Robin anything, or wait
Yeah,
one second?
Robin, I'm looking down the 311 complaint list, and most of these are for odors, not for noise. There's a few in here.
There are a few for noise, right?
And those are all around midnight, which is much later than when the outdoors would be operated.
Right, but if you've got a
So-
restaurant where you have doors open, that people are hearing the noise, the doors absolutely have to be closed immediately and not kept open in any way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'll give I'll just tell you my 2 cents, and then you tell me how you're going to solve it, because I do walk by there,
Yeah.
and I've walked by since your meeting,
Yeah.
and I will say, much
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah.
But your patrons do tend to leave,
Yeah.
even with that, and just hang out
Yeah.
out there, or kind of hold the door open while the second half
Yeah.
of the group comes out, or anything. So, is there something you can think of to help manage that part of it as well? Because
What shoots me in the foot about, what shoots me in the foot about that is that on Friday, Saturday, we have a 7 and 9 p.m. seating, so the 9 o'clock lingers, to 9:15, 9:10, and we have the other reservations that are outside that we can't. And that's how I always get, that's the calls I get of that. And same thing happens at midnight, 12:30, when I got to throw everyone out. We got to get them to move, because that's how I get in trouble every time.
Right.
I
Maybe
can-
last call earlier or something, so they
Yeah.
start funneling out. I don't know. I don't
But
know.
I just want to say one
look,
thing about
you're
awning.
popular, so.
I brought my awning out, and it did help, but then, I don't know who, but the fire department came 2 or 3 times, telling me
Oh.
someone was calling, and I had to
Because
pull it back
'cause
because of the
fire
trap.
escape.
Yeah, because of the fire escape. So I can pull it out, it's not a problem, but if someone
Yeah, no,
calls.
you're not
yeah.
allowed to.
So
You
it
need to have
becomes.
a hole in it.
Yeah, that's what,
so
I'm
the
gonna
fire
redo my
escape
awning and I'll
can
get a
Can you
hole.
put a hole
Yeah,
in
I
it,
mean,
though?
you may just want to ask the awning company.
Yeah, just
if what they might, and I'm not
Yeah.
sure what the rules are, but they might be able to put in a breakaway
Yeah.
or trim it out.
Because
But they might
it
be-
traps the noise of the restaurant too. It
Yeah.
the awning definitely helped. I mean, but
Okay. Are we good? Okay.
what do I do now? I just wait.
No, we'll send you, we'll discuss it, and
Right.
if we're okay with it, you'll get a stipulation form for the outside. It's not the full,
Yeah.
you already have a stipulation
Yeah,
form,
yeah.
so this would just be adding the outside
all right.
to it, okay?
Thank you.
If we all agree. Okay, thank you. Okay, next is Bleecker Street Holdings doing business as Emmett's, 50 McDougal. Robin. Did you send it? What a miracle that was, huh? Have they all been emailed? There's additional, then I'll take those.
My name is, is
I think there's a dial in the middle there that will.
My name is Alexi. I'm the general manager of Emmett's, located at 50 McDougal, looking to extend our beer and wine license to our outdoor seating for 6 tables and 12 chairs. The photo that you have of the outdoor seating has been, the seating chart has been modified. We put 6 two-tops, which resembles more so the DOT license.
6 two-tops, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's, oh, the photo, okay.
The photo on the application.
And you'll close at 10 every night. I think you do have an FDMY waiver. Did they get, FDMY give you a waiver?
The DOT, any of the DOT stuff that went through was prior to me managing, so I would have to circle back on.
Okay, and the principal couldn't be here? The
Unfortunately,
print-
no.
Okay, I'm just hang on one second. Does anybody have anything? I'm just looking for one. I thought we got some letter about noise outside, but. Just give me one sec.
Mhm.
It's not, I don't see anything. Okay. Okay, I guess that's, you're just in front of your place, all the service is going to be in there. It's ADA compliant, I assume. Okay, I think, does anybody else have anything on this? No? Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Somebody's got to. Huh? Right, but it's not now. We've moved on. we've moved on. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next one is Like-Minded Hospitality, doing business as Rusioli, 43 McDougal.
Hello, I'm Max Katzenberg, Director of Operations for Rusioli, and I'm here to apply for the alteration of our license for 4 tables, 8 seats for Sidewalk Cafe.
Okay, so have you been approved by DOT?
We have.
Okay, so it's a miracle. So I have a number of questions. It's number one, there's a platform, and they say things aren't supposed to be on a platform.
Yes, so the explanation that our plan examiner gave when I spoke to them after the approval was that, they referred to the tax photos. I've printed one here. They provided me this photo, and they asked me to share this with you. They felt that the spirit of that code, the platform code, was that new platforms weren't meant to be constructed for sidewalk cafes to be built on. But this is clearly a very old stoop, or I wouldn't even really call it a platform. It's been part of the property for at least 80 years. And, they felt that after visiting the site multiple times and measuring and looking at the tax photos, that our request was in the spirit of this new sidewalk cafe program, and they wanted to approve it.
And so how is it ADA compliant?
Well, you can enter the restaurant entrance up a ramp, which is, if you're looking at the ancient photo, you can see it. It's actually a better shot than what I provide. The main entrance to the restaurant, the door on the very left of the 1940s photo, and then you can go through the interior of the restaurant, and there are non-egress, non-legal egress, but doors out onto the stoop. So you could get to the seats through that.
Where are the doors out onto this? The stairs go down.
No, here. Right here, there's actually a door, right onto the stoop on this side of the building. So
Right.
you could go in the entrance there.
But this has a little ledge here. This has a ledge.
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit too.
And not only
The
that,
seats will be on the stoop.
right, but how does somebody get to that?
Through the restaurant and out.
Right, but you have to come down that
Yeah,
ledge.
we could put 'em in. We have ramps at the restaurant.
And what about the ventilation? Right. How do you get up to that
On
door?
our ramp, we have a ramp for when there's an ADA, when there's a guest that needs it.
You're talking about there's an entrance way down there?
Right, that's the main entrance to the restaurant, right here.
And so where is your perimeter barrier on
The
here?
boundary would be I'll go back to the microphone. The boundary would be the curb line.
And
The-
what's keeping somebody from falling off of the curb?
Well, we could put a stanchion or a rope, but it'll be like side-by-side cafe-style seatings. There wouldn't be
What if
somebody's,
somebody
like,
has a
back.
wheelchair and they're coming out there? How do they come down the ramp and then turn to access the seat that's there? And then
They would
not-
make a
and-
very quick, they would just turn to the left. They would come right down and turn to the left. It's wider than it looks in
No, I
this
know,
old
yeah.
photo. There is plenty of space to accommodate a wheelchair,
It's-
to walk
I-
around to serve them.
How wide is this ledge?
I believe that it's 5 or 6 feet. I don't know right off the top of my head, the exact.
And then what about the grates, those ventilation grates that are on there
Yeah.
that the DOT rules say you're not supposed to be on top of? DOT now is saying it's okay if you're on top of a ventilation grate?
Those grates, this is one specific plan examiner that I spoke to. The
Right.
grates that they were referring to are like the city grates for the subway system or proper ventilation grates. These are just grates for our own property. Below that grate is a window well for the restroom for some fresh air. Same with the other side.
And
these
how-
aren't, these grates are just for our building.
They're ventilation grates, and that's what the rules say, ventilation grates.
Yeah, that's the explanation that they gave me.
Okay, and then how are they? And then the wait staff is accessing this, I guess, through.
Yeah, these doors in this photo
Right.
would be the way that the staff gets out, and they would, come along and serve the guests.
And what
Like
about
Paris
on the
Bistro
other
style,
side?
very small tables, side-by-side seating, not guests sitting across from each other.
Yeah, so this says that your diagram says that the platform's 4 feet across. Which I don't know if that's even an ADA curvature, if you can do an ADA curve on that. And then the 8 feet from the fire hydrant, they think it's okay that
Yeah.
it's not 8 feet? I mean, the arrow is pointing to basically the end of the platform for the 8 feet.
I see.
I don't know, I mean, I don't. Maybe, I mean, your perimeter is supposed to be the perimeter, everybody's supposed to be using it, so that puts your whole. Also, how are you fitting 2 tables? How are you fitting 2 tables? If you're looking at that doorway, how are you fitting 2 tables to the right-hand side of that doorway?
Like very small tables with side-by-side seating. Like maybe an 18-inch table with 2 small chairs.
On top of a grate.
Yeah, either on grate or
So
perhaps
somebody
one
with
on
their
either
little high
side of
heels
the
just
door.
fall right inside the grate. Makes.
What's that?
I mean, somebody with their high heels just goes inside the grate. That's
You
what's
could
going
put
to
a
happen.
mat down, they could be on.
You're not allowed to put mats or flooring on the sidewalk, and if they're considering this the sidewalk, you can't do that.
Right.
I mean, this is like trying to have it every which way.
Well, no, we just want to, no, I don't agree that we want to have it every which way.
Go ahead, Bob.
Microphone still? We're the only ones here. Okay, so the front door has 2 step-ups.
Yes, but we have a ramp right at the front door. If ever there's ADA, a use. Yeah, we bring it's a temporary ramp. It's not a
So just for
permanent.
clarification, this is a new program, so this is a new construction. You can't use a ramp to access it. It needs to be permanently accessible. A ramp is usable for interior access to a non-conforming space, but because of the federal ADA rules, this doesn't allow a newly created space to not be non-ADA accessible.
Okay.
That's a very clear requirement. The DOT won't respond to us with respect to that. We don't agree.
Yeah.
We're happy to take this to the Liquor Authority and have the state pursue this with the city and the federal government as far as the ADA access is,
Sure.
but that's an important part of public interest, is that you have accessibility. I also think that Donna's point about just reasonableness and the setup with the seating to the right of the doorway, this plan doesn't really show how that is able to be done. And the Liquor Authority also has a different requirement from the city, and that they need to see the table and chair layout, because as they pointed out, that's what they're interested in for outdoor seating, and it specifically says that in their guidance. But it doesn't look like with any of these measurements that really fits, because there's nothing here actually measured out. And then on top of that, just the reason for the equalness of the sidewalk is public safety. If you have people in chairs, you can fall off. Does your insurance company know about that, specifically that risk, that you have nothing that stops anybody from falling off that step? But what's interesting, that's not private property. That's actually the city's property. So is the city indemnified through your insurance on that? Or are they a covered party? I mean, there's a lot more that goes into this that's not just so even though DOT may have approved it, there's a million open issues that there's no answers on.
Sure.
And
Yeah, I've
so
heard
just
that with a
having
couple of the other
a tax
applications.
photo you know, from the past, that, okay, so there's a tax photo, but there weren't restaurants there.
Right.
You know, that there were, in fact, there's multiple businesses in the space where you occupy as one.
Yeah.
So, and these were all, you know, different types of businesses as opposed to an eating and drinking establishment. I think one on the
It's
right,
an ice
the
cream shop. I'm
laundry,
sure they were doing soda.
you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago.
So there's, but these are all the different issues, and it seems to go contrary to actually, they say, oh, you know, you said, DOT said, oh, there's a platform that wasn't meant to get in the way, but there are other practical reasons why they're level. And one of the biggest things that we've heard through other members of our board who've, from my understanding, who've asked the federal ADA, is that you can't create new space in a new program that's not accessible.
I understand.
So, and this is a new space and it's not accessible. So.
Yeah, I disagree that it's new space. You know, the space is
Well,
here.
no,
and
it is new space because it was
you
never.
can see in the photo that this
No,
platform was
it's new
here.
You're misunderstanding
Well,
what I'm
that's,
saying.
no.
It's,
That's your
you're
interpretation,
misunderstanding. No,
Carter,
it's
as
not
it
an
was
interpretation.
when
It's
you interpreted the
misunderstanding of what you're
platform
saying.
that way.
The program didn't exist, so it's new space for a new program. It's not that it was existing. In order to have a new space under the new rules for the sidewalk seating, which was just created, that space that's allowed to be used needs to be ADA accessible.
I see.
It's not that this didn't exist in this picture, it's that it's a new program that didn't exist before. So the new program has to be fully compliant. with the new rules.
Okay.
And,
You know,
and that's something
they
that-
scrutinized it at length. I know they came out multiple times, and we went to the public hearing where the community board spoke, and I think there was a DOT attorney that spoke, and we spoke, and they approved it. It wasn't one of the automatic approvals either. They really carefully considered it. You know, all the matters that you're speaking of are very serious.
Well,
and important.
they won't answer us on ADA.
Really?
And in fact, they don't have the required clearances in their rules. So,
well,
and that's an open question,
Yeah.
and that's been of interest to the chair of the liquor authority.
Yeah, the
that they're
operator's
not
experience,
complying with the rules.
Yeah, the business operator's experience has been that with all the city agencies, you know, they err on the side of letting the complainants deal with it in the courts, and the insurance companies deal with it. I know many operators who have had that issue with the building department throughout the years. You know, now the DOT sort of seems to be mimicking that behavior. So I can't say I'm shocked that you're not, you know, getting clear. You know, we struggle to get clear anything. You guys are honestly our biggest resource when it comes to shooting it straight on all this stuff. You know, we see you know, a place to have a few seats. It would be a very nice thing for our guests and for our business. You know, we will close early. We have a wine and beer license. Almost all the other stores have, well, it sounds like we'll have licensed outdoor seating along the same guidelines.
But they're not the same. So here's the thing, right?
Well, with
this is the
ours,
kind of
rather.
place where you should have a built-in metal railing, having a lip so the chair can't fall off. These are all things, but you can't put them in because those also break the rules because
Sure.
it's not private property. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Sure.
like in order to make it safe, you can't do it. In order to operate it, it has to be unsafe because then it's the program. So it makes no sense on either direction because it doesn't take in one of the most important things, it's just safety, basic safety in that, right?
Yeah, I
that's
appreciate the concern about the
issue,
safety. People
and
use it, the public uses it, they sit on our benches, you know, people bring coffees and sit. You know, it's not a hazard of a stoop. It's not very high. I would even imagine that step in this photo, this step may even be ADA compliant. It may not be higher than 3 inches. Don't 100% quote me on that, but there is a certain allowable step height. This doesn't look like a full step that's within compliance. And yeah, if you're not ADA compliant, it's a very high likelihood that you'll hear from a private member of the community. So we certainly go beyond at this location and all of our other locations that we manage to accommodate that.
Anybody else? No?
Okay,
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for staying,
Yeah, no,
sorry.
no, it's okay. I always go last. I have to.
All right, next time, you go early.
Okay.
Four plus Bob.
Don't put yourself down that way.
Okay, corporate change, or we denying that?
Yes.
Which one?
Oscars. Okay. Second one, Gray Dogs.
Echo.
Service bar.
Right, I was actually, okay with it. I understand the committee opposition, they're upset with that place. They've had things, I think that the applicant did himself no favor standing up at the end. I mean, he was already winning and he stood up and.
Well, I think he had a compelling.
He has a, you know,
But,
I
he's
mean,
there.
what he said is consistent with what
You
he
just
said every
should have
single time.
integrated the
he's
other
come
view.
here. And is it rough around the edges? It has been, but that was during another time. And now it seems that it's
But, you know,
following the
also-
rules. The outside follows.
I've been at the other great, I've been at the other great dogs, I've been at the other great dog, and this change is a change of doing other places, they're turning the, what was just, because initially it was like a co-op and order the food at the thing, and then we put it, and they've turned it to more table service, and so they're turning what were the counters, right, the sort of food, pastry, and the case counters into seating areas to order the food and sit down.
I'm fine with
Denial.
less.
It's a huge service.
Yeah.
There's no other place in New York that has a service bar that big.
Yeah,
It's insane.
and he's closing at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so, Chubby Cattle,
so let me,
I won't say this is any different than what it used to be.
no, it
for
doesn't
sure.
seem like it is. So was there anything I need to highlight on that? It's an all you can eat. No outside, no private parties.
just more
All you can
the,
eat, my
is the. Making
Oh,
sure there's
sure.
no all you can drink.
When I was 15.
that explains why you're so chubby now.
To,
Okay,
an issue.
I'll make a special stick for that.
Yeah.
For Korean barbecue. What's that stuff?
No,
All you can drink.
It's all you can eat.
Okay,
All you can eat, all you can drink.
take me to the river.
Okay, let me.
Which was.
Yeah, that's Pearl 22 Greenwich
Yeah, they
Clacton.
worked that out.
Yeah, and that is, but what did we work that out to? 1 AM Friday and Saturday, 12 AM and 1 AM. Okay. Next one, Clio. That was the new one on Hudson, the Angelo's place.
2 girls.
Denying last, we had a good meeting with the community, they're doing a lot of roast chicken.
12 seats.
Not more seats than that,
That's very few.
it's not many.
Is it Cleo?
Yeah, are we denying last, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the one that had no bar at her.
right, no bar. 63 Bedford.
That's no problem. I think
Yeah,
we
that
worked
seems
all
fine.
out.
But it's a smart deal in me because it can never have anything outdoor seating in anyway.
And, okay, so there's no outdoor.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't think they would get the
You
application.
can't never have it.
Well, if they change the sign,
Well, the previous applicant, we went through a whole
Yeah, but that was during
thing, and
COVID.
then no, I know, but then they came to the realization they couldn't have it checked, but it was.
so it's 11 PM,
Yes.
Sunday to Wednesday.
They're also
and-
storing propane tanks illegally all over the place, if I remember.
There was some serious crime going on in that shed. And
Yeah.
it was not a good shed.
Okay. So that's 11 and 12 PM.
And you had to walk by that shed. It was like creepy as can do.
142 West 10. That's OP for the tavern
That's a problem.
till,
It sounds like there was some misrepresentation to them,
But
but that
that's
doesn't
not our-
become our issue.
I mean,
because when they
honestly-
did the due diligence, they also found it out.
right,
Right.
Said,
right.
That was my struck. It's like, I feel sorry for them that if they can't get out of the situation, but you know, the fact that you were misled into thinking that there was a 2 AM license on this place.
Well,
I mean, honestly, how the community then suffers in order to.
well, let's go
help
back.
the Business error.
I mean, that's just their explanation of why they move forward, right? But the bigger thing is, when you look here, I know there's some ground floor businesses, but these are all like residential
Yeah.
on the ground floor. And I have a high confidence this will be a successful endeavor wherever they choose to put it, but I think that the impacts here would be pretty
Yeah.
significant. And I don't think it's the best choice. And they run a very good operations, but I just don't think they can escape from those impacts. And this is precisely the kind of place where we don't want to have expanded impacts. But a restaurant could fit here.
Well,
But that's winding down at 11. It's
Yeah,
fine.
and in particular, like even before, look, even in the evening, like, you know, after 5 and things. This block gets much quieter because most of the things that are on the block close. There is a restaurant further down towards the avenue, right? And then there's the ice cream, the Van Leeuwen, right, Kelly? And they're open like in the evening, but nothing's open till late night, like after midnight.
Cause this is sort of a misnomer street, like, right, cause it
there's a place
has the bus on it, so.
There's a bus-
And
that
it
place is
becomes
open.
like, it seems a little busier, but it's
And it
still
is.
residential, that doesn't mean you load up all the impacts.
Right.
That
And a
are
Michelin star
inconsistent with the
high-end
residential
restaurant
zones.
bar.
I mean, to get to a
they
place
took care of
open-
Bad enough, that the lines outside at 4 in the
Well, they
afternoon, and that
told us
closes
there
at
wouldn't
12.
be.
And they said there wouldn't be any lines, and that closes at 12 o'clock, and those lines are out there in the afternoon.
And here's the thing, if you go through the park, you go the other way, you get up to Greenwich and across the way is Bernardine, and which we just saw tonight.
Well, Burger.
And you go the other way and you got Julius, right? But on the corner opposite. On the cross streets and whatever, right? On this street itself, which is mostly residential, is quiet.
No, right, well, that's what,
And
I think that's.
And when she says it's all reservations like that, like, first of all, she said we'd like it to be all reservations. Like that would quiet, it's like, that sounds to me like there's gonna be Ubers constantly coming, people waiting.
But there's gonna be lines outside too.
Yeah.
I just think that the impacts here on this block for those later hours of operation are a big problem, because these are the blocks where we're not against business, but this is a mismatch.
Yeah.
And also, I think you pointed out that they open at noon, but they're really looking at the later hours because that's where this type of operation works,
Yeah.
where they can make extra money. And I just think that those impacts, I mean, I just keep going back to that, those impacts on the building.
Good operator on location.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I don't think that she has encountered this yet in our community.
No.
Because her locations have closing earlier hours, and they've also been in pre-licensed spaces that match the operations that have been there. One's on Hudson, one's on Bond, like, it's a different style, but this is a bigger impact, I think it's.
And even on Hudson, I will say, she opens, I guess, at 5. There's a line outside the door at 4:30.
Yeah, and that's the same.
So that's what's gonna happen here.
That's the
but
same
I'm
on
going-
the street, like yeah. So.
Deny? Yeah.
But we'd like to see them come back.
I also think if you're gonna do live music and a DJ, then
Yeah,
like
that's-
soundproof, like,
Yeah,
all of it, like,
yeah.
we didn't even get there.
No, because yeah, but I'm glad you did ask that, because that,
That, I feel like the DJ thing is like, okay, now I don't actually believe you're like a high-end cocktail bar, because that's not,
Right.
that's then giving club or bar, high energy, not low energy.
right,
And it's interesting too, because this is an interesting, because they need the food, right?
Yeah.
They have the food in, the cocktail prices were, not inconsistent, but if they want their average check to be up, which is consistent with their other operations. Because they have a pretty high staffing level to patrons, but to keep that check level up.
It
That's
seems
a
like they're like
challenge.
not, like maybe a good restaurant operator is different than a good bar. Or-
Yeah, and that's a good
Different
point,
skill
because
sets.
she was trying to highlight the beverage director.
right.
As the forefront or at the head of this project. That's interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, ad hoc,
Ad hoc,
collective,
they gotta come back?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
this one, I think the biggest thing is,
are they coming back?
can people keep an eye out if there's no tables and chairs there, then it's not really a problem. If they can't really follow the simple directive of that, I mean, it's not a hard.
But he agreed to come back.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
every spot, Bob, that we've had engagements with either of these two women. there's
Yeah, it's
been
always been
problems.
That's
There are
people,
problems,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
There's always something outside, and can we
Like, pay attention,
just do it? Right.
Right. okay, so then we have,
But I have a feeling it's also their clientele that wants it too, so they're put in a tough spot.
right. I'd just like to see them not use the sidewalk for a month or two.
Because we've heard this from a number of operators, the customers are asking for outside too, because they want. it.
Yeah, everybody
So
wants
for
outside.
these-
I mean, everybody just wants to have some tables outside. So,
For the patron.
yeah, what I mean.
It's-
Okay, so now we're on to, 16 Bedford.
the trio.
Yeah, I'll just, I mean, I don't think we can handle them, write them all separately, but I don't,
Well, I think you can write them all separately and they can be, but the bigger thing, isn't this have all the issues that we've highlighted together?
I just don't understand how you can have it on three all on that same block, right next to each other.
Is
And the stipulations all say no outside,
Yeah.
Right.
all of their stipulations.
Is the rules that nobody would clarify for us, they all sort of, seem to contemplate one space on a block
right,
and being an exception.
Yeah.
Here you have them concentrated, like in the closest possible area, and the structures aren't compliant. And that's why I was surprised when we were on this walkthrough, some time ago with Penny Rangel, and he said, that's not what they're supposed to be, because you can't easily, deal with the structures, because it's all welded together and it's,
There's also,
wood and can't take it apart. So there's all these things that,
They don't seem to care much either.
yeah,
it's one operator, so there's got to be some compromise.
well,
You know,
here-
it is.
I'm not-
Be some
I'm not
There's gotta be some.
disagreeing with you, but that ship sailed, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But I just want to know what the answers are to how all these determinations are made. And because it seems to be that there's a public safety impact.
yeah,
And nobody's explaining this. If they had a rule and somebody shouldered the burden for the exception and explained why it was there, that'd be very different. But can you imagine if this starts to be the norm everywhere? I don't think the exception on small streets for the waiver was ever intended
it was supposed to
to
be
be this.
unusual.
I think it's just such a big difference when you have three together.
Well, it's
And
like
The
with
three
Google,
together
right.
it makes it very hard for them, if you ask me.
And Bedford Street is also a very important street because the safety access for fire trucks and stuff to go diagonally through our community. It's just like Bleecker Street. It's like really important. Like you could never close the street or you cut off any fast access to stuff, and that's for all old buildings there, like just,
So,
it's like when they wanted to make
These
Bleecker Street an open
these
street.
applications are
Everything
not,
said absolutely not.
these are not method of operation changes.
they have to be a method of
but they're-
operation.
but
I didn't-
they're
I-
municipal expansion only.
I didn't see the stips, or I think the two 230 Bleecker, so if you guys have them, that would be good to send me.
I have,
I had the steps on the other two. But yeah.
I'm sorry, steps for which one?
230 Bleecker, 21 Bedford. Montana.
21 Bedford.
Yeah, I couldn't, I mean, I didn't, the other ones came up, I was looking last minute, so. But yeah, so they all need to change the method of operation to change the stipulation.
But they didn't do that.
No,
Okay, so.
so we need,
I could just-
I mean, a lot of them, I will just say, a lot of the people are not understanding that if they had a stipulation that said no outside, that they can't just have out, that they have to do a change of method of operation too. It's not unusual. I think I've told more people than I haven't. In fact, I don't know
You're
that there's,
avoiding the public interest rule. You just avoid it. You're going roughly.
well, the public interest was, yeah,
Public interest was granted based on the fact that there wasn't gonna be any outside. And now all of a sudden there's outside without any application to change that? What, huh? How's that work? Someone just brought Article 78, that would be dead in the water. Can't do that. I'm sorry, you said
and they
21
couldn't,
Bedford?
yeah, and they couldn't have outside before though, also. So. It wasn't. But the steps clearly say we will not have.
What is 21 Bedford? What's the name of that restaurant?
230 Bleecker Court, DBA Cortana,
Kotena?
yeah.
That's probably.
So. Drop it in there or something.
Says premises related to restaurant, 11 AM to midnight.
And they haven't been keeping the door closed.
Will not operate back there. Garden,
Does it say now or in the future, or does it just say will not, yeah? To me, the ones that say now or in the future are the ones that really had a conversation as a,
Yeah, but we were
Public
told you
interest.
can't do that. And so we stopped doing it.
okay,
And,
but either way,
it doesn't say because you couldn't do it.
no.
I mean, it's like, you know,
It just says will not have it.
well, there was this, the chairman of the state liquor authority didn't like it. You can do anything you want. He didn't
Okay,
like
so
it,
are we're deny on all three of these, I'm presuming,
Yes.
I mean,
And I'll have to
as a
try to-
whole also, but it has to be very important that we are also looking at this holistically,
Right,
which is
so I
what
have
nobody
to-
else is doing.
I have to mention, I have to write one reso and then reference the other two places and then just switch the names around for the other one, so it's all the same.
Yeah, and then when
That's
we have any
basically the same
submissions, we'll
thing.
submit all three of them together.
Yeah, each one will link to,
I would just write one resolution for all three.
no, I can't, because each
Yeah.
one might not get there at the same time, they're not looking at it that way.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay, so everybody's format, yes?
Yes.
Okay. 12, Ubani.
Did we hear Anton?
Yes, that one was good.
570 Hudson?
Yes,
Something, yeah, we heard that early on. That was like,
no, we didn't,
Yeah.
I remember, it.
oh,
We
wait.
heard it.
you're right, I skipped 3, Anton's.
Oh.
So I just did that one really fast. I barely made it to use the restroom.
Okay, so Anton's, we agreed to post at 10, are we okay with that one?
Yeah, there was no issues there.
Well, I mean, we have been asking other people to just keep the seating on Hudson and get rid of it on the side streets. I'm just saying. But
Well, nobody asked him.
nobody asked them, right, nobody. Okay, then the next one is, oh, I know why, because my numbers are off.
Slicehaus.
Slicehaus. That is, I
That
have
was
to,
held over, I thought.
yeah, but I have to get in touch with the liquor authority to see, I don't think that you can just only have to-go drinks, I know you can.
No, they're not to-go drinks. To-go drinks is a very different terminology. What you're misusing the term. To-go drinks are a sealed drink, and any license is entitled to sell beer to go.
Okay,
It just is an unopened bottle. That's
Okay.
already included in every license. The difference is that we also have wine.
right,
Wine, and I don't believe that they're able to sell bottles of wine, but they can sell a single serving of wine. If that's in a can, they're probably entitled to that, but you have to buy it with a substantive food item. I'm not sure that pizza meets that requirement, and you have to take it to go. You can't consume it there.
Right.
So the license that that they're applying for is an on-premise license. It's not a
Right.
to-go license, but
Right.
we're misusing the terms. It's
Okay,
very
so it is
important.
an on-premise, so that's
Yeah, yeah.
the issue, it's
Yeah.
an on-premise license.
Because we wouldn't hear it otherwise. And so as an
Right.
on-premise license, where is the area for consumption? And what they're saying is that, oh, we have these few standing counters.
No way.
Now, that, there are some that have had that, but it doesn't make much sense. But it sounds also like they're trying to compete with all these other places, but it doesn't make sense because most of them, like somebody might have a beer or something, but their space is so small. Why would they want somebody to have a beer? Because then you're gonna sit around there longer.
Right, no, I don't understand. I
So
don't
it's-
either go.
it's a
If it's on premise, they have to have a bathroom.
Well, no, they have to, but their bathroom, they also have to change the design, but I don't know why, like. I would think that they'd rather focus on the high volume
That's
nature of
exactly
their,
right. I don't understand why
space.
they're going through this.
yeah, it's a strange
'cause nobody's gonna hang
competitiveness that
What's the, what would be the license if it's not on premise?
wouldn't come to us.
So there is a license to sell.
Yeah, it's what every bodega has.
Right.
Commercial, right?
Yeah, it's a to-go license,
Right.
but
It's
that's a
retail-
different,
It's a retail.
yeah, that's
it's
a different license. that
Like there's a
doesn't come to
rule
us.
that they wall off the food area, they open the bathroom, they put stools and they build out the counter far enough. That,
Yeah.
sure, you can maybe get it,
Right.
but
Right.
like, do you wanna do all that? You don't have very much square footage as it is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but
It
it's.
would have been nice.
And
I
the volume
did
of the
not
beer and
fully
wine is
grasp
not gonna
it.
make up the money of
Would've
the
been
buying
nice
of the
if it
pizza.
That's all. I didn't fully grasp the whole situation.
What
Yeah,
did-
or-
what
I
did
don't
you
think
grasp?
they do either.
No, but it would be nice to tell them, I don't think you're gonna be able
Well,
to do this.
it's just like Industry, the reason they're so crowded, that their lines, that they don't need. They need space inside to hold the people.
The key is it's on premise. That's the key verbiage.
No, right,
The
yeah,
language.
yeah,
right?
and I'm just saying that they're sort of not seeing that if they too are popular.
Yeah.
Cause everybody seems to be, and I don't know who all these
What's
people
going
are
on?
that wait around in line for all
For
this
their
time
whole
to get
life.
slices of
That's
pizza, you know.
Industrial, you have to go to industrial.
I'm not gonna wait on.
And then I went to that other,
Online.
I went,
Let's go
what's
get
the
it.
other
Let's go
place
get it.
on, what's the other place that's on, Bleecker right around
I
the
didn't
corner?
go, I think I've been there.
I went and then I got there and they didn't have any more pizza. And I was like, okay, I give up. This is like, it's after one of our meetings, actually.
You gotta go to Industry.
So they had run out. And that's why there was no line.
Gotta order
Anyway.
online.
Okay, so they laid over.
But they kinda need to know. I would almost say they need to know that
They should get,
they can't do it. I know, hire a lawyer.
okay, now we're at a Bonnie. With the rear yard. And what did they say? 1 a.m. Friday, Thursday, did he say Thursday, Friday and Saturday? Or did he say 1 a.m. Friday
Yeah,
and Saturday?
12 on Thursday. 11 the rest of the day.
No,
so
11.
1 on Friday and Saturday.
This is the one on
Soccer place, yeah.
The reason that we were okay with that last place is because of the hours and the exchange of why we didn't ask more questions about the rear yard
Right.
was because the hours were so early. That's what it was. And I just realized that at the end. Because even if it's a glass roof and it's not very thick, they close earlier, it's not impactful. And we just said, that resolved all of these issues. But now there's still, now at the later hours it's not really fully enclosed. It is an outside area that's covered. There isn't permission to depict there. So it all comes back up again. Because it has the potential of creating those problems because it is so late. So I just remembered that's what.
I know, but it's not written in that stupid resolution.
No,
And that way we don't remember it,
Yeah.
Cause I couldn't remember, I have a recollection of them telling me that there's,
Well,
that lives up there and it's enclosed and
Right, and then it's also, I have an email from Mike Kelly that says they removed the rear yard, but then I can't find the
Yeah,
change in
I
the,
think we need to go there and see it ourselves.
Well, I think he may have come back, but,
and
but
And that one
that was
also
in
they-
2023, you know what?
that one they also, I think it was September.
I'm still working
also.
on the Katana thing.
Okay.
Um,
Then they also, I applied for restaurant wine, and then they wanted to change to on premise, but, or maybe it was on premise, and they went to restaurant wine. It was the time where you couldn't get the temp licenses, so they were trying to get licensed. There was a bunch of back and forth on that one. I just know that I didn't see the 30-day notice in that thought. So I don't,
This, and then let me go just go look, because you know where you didn't look was in the drive.
I did look in the drive.
In the 30-day notice part.
I did, but go ahead.
Okay.
No,
No,
you
no,
can
'cause
find it.
that's
No, you
where
can
the
find it.
withdrawal would have
But
been.
I looked, I don't know if I looked for December of 23, but then I think those emails were back a couple months later, so I wasn't sure who would have put them where. So. But I easily could have missed, because I was trying to get over here while I was looking as well.
I can't find Lieutenant, so
I got it.
you have the steps?
Yeah.
Put it in the drive. Okay.
So when was that was 2023?
Let me just look and see the background. Okay, here it is. So the email that I sent.
And what was the name of the spot?
The name of the spot, SAVTA.
And was it always that, or was that? Or what's the address of it?
The address is 259 Bleecker, but that's not in the subject of the email. So the email Mike Kelly sent on September 16th, 2024 was see the attached revised 30-day notice as per the attached deficiency letter from the SLA. Oh, that was the other thing to bring up, and I forgot. They wanted us to change the address to 259-263 to 263, so it's consistent licensing history. And we're requesting that this notification be timestamped at any possible hearing waived because nothing else is changing. But I don't know what's in this revised 30-day notice because it's not removing the backyard. And my previous email to Eva from September 16, 2024 said during our meeting, they removed the rear yard from the application. Please ask Mike to eliminate the rear yard from the 30-day notice. In addition, remind him that the stipulation agreement says that there is no outdoor seating in the backyard, sidewalk, or road bed. We may want to remind his client of that. So,
Mike only has like 50 applications a week, you know.
but this was back in September 2024.
Is that for me?
No, that's from me to Eva, September 16, 2024. Let's see, I still don't.
Well,
But then the original application.
no, these are all, all these meetings were recorded.
Okay,
So it'd be in the recordings of the meeting, whatever it was.
but I think, I'm just not sure even which meetings. I've got to go back, because I guess one was in September, but there was also something in
Okay, here it is.
December
Hi, Eva.
2023.
I'm withdrawing the on-premise
Found it.
liquor license notification
Right.
sent to the applicant.
Right.
I will be notifying you again. We will be applying for the restaurant wine
Right.
license. So
When was
it
that? When was that?
that was on November 17th. Great.
Right, and then,
It's in the, it's in layers and withdrawals in 2023.
in December,
Yeah,
okay, but that says nothing about the backyard. So then our December reso. And skips. Before the restaurant wine.
but we also have, it's marked. It's marked withdrawn under the questionnaire.
Right, for the on premise.
Yeah, so that's where it goes to beer and wine.
Right. And I just don't, I couldn't find anything that withdrew the rear yard.
Alright, so let me just-
While you're looking, can I move on or? Stick with this for a minute. Let me see.
How many more we got to go?
This is Mark, if you want. I don't know if Cormac, if you
So-
Carter didn't sign in.
All right, Kate, so this, there is no C of O here. There's a line out on this location, and this is.
Okay.
Any food? I call the question. Come on.
No, we'll just look, well, look, I think where it came up from is going back to the old Logan card.
Right.
Show, see what the backyard was used as, that's
And I speak on.
yeah, it says that there's a yard.
That's pretty good.
And that it's open, so the argument here is that it's not enclosed space because there's no new C of O to make it enclosed.
No, they enclosed it. They enclosed
And
it. No doubt.
This came up, there's some open questions, yeah. Just
I have no doubt they did that.
the, but they don't have permission to use that area. What they're saying is enclosed because it was never
I'm
closed.
sure that's the case too.
Which I think
Maybe
this is a
skip that.
conversation we had last time, which is why there was something that Mike said he was withdrawing that.
Right.
But
And
I can't
They
find it.
didn't withdraw it because they just put a cover on.
Well, but that's,
And you-
that's not. No, I think there was a last thing when these people, the softer people came. And I think that was the conversation
now
that-
I'm remembering, I think.
that
there's
we had.
Violations in the back, right? That's.
that,
It's sort of coming together.
that said, but I don't have any of that in the history. I don't think of the, you know,
But the reality is, we don't have anybody complain that we're aware of.
No, and that is precisely why with the earlier hours,
Yeah.
we just said, okay,
Right.
this like kind of eliminates the impact because it's closing earlier. So now we have somebody who's saying, oh, I want to focus on the latest hours. And that's,
But it's not written in the resolution, so that was a mistake.
yeah,
That was a mistake.
I think it was one mistake. It's probably too complicated now.
well, no, it doesn't have to be written in because we have the video record
Okay.
of the meeting.
So which meeting do I go back to? I go
That's,
back to
you know,
I probably go back to the
That's all those meetings were recorded.
Yeah.
2023 one.
I just think that the bigger issue here is the later hours of the impact, and that's, you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, but it's beer and wine, so they're gonna,
I understand, but I mean, if they're not supposed to be there, it's, you know, it's a whole other.
but what happens with beer and wine now? We object and they don't cover it. It doesn't go.
No, that's not necessarily true, but I don't think they had anywhere to file them. So they never knew that we objected, they just throw all our resolutions in the corner.
I don't know. What's the other one that's not from that long ago that had the rear yard that we objected to and they just approved it?
The alligator.
Well, there's
That was a
another one.
mistake. That was clearly a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we just have to. I mean, the 1 o'clock seems late for there, nothing else, even Tacombe closes I
But
mean,
that's what I'm saying. I
If you
think.
want to go back to them and say, we can't approve this, we're worried about this backyard.
And the resolution is closing at midnight across the board.
That was the
Later
first one.
hours during the week and.
The first place, Baker was 12.
Right.
But that rear yard area was 10 PM.
right, they had a whole thing. Got the rear yard. Baker had 10 Sunday through the 11 Friday and Saturday with lights out in the rear yard.
Well, you could say,
I mean, I could do that.
if you say close that one earlier, they won't.
Well, that's what Baker had. And then Southwood closed to 10 and 11.
These are the same people that built the shed on the little tree, Bedford, 37A Bedford.
Yeah.
Remember that one? I wrote this long resolution about.
I mean, they're a popular place, I will say. Whatever.
Alright, so I mean,
So what are we doing
they
with
wanted
this?
2 AM.
Well, they
Did they
cut it
back
down to, they backed down to 1 AM Friday and Saturday, 12 Thursday, and 11 the other days.
I mean, just seems. I guess my concern is it leans more towards a festive place as opposed to a restaurant. That's my thing. And
Yeah,
if it
well,
wasn't,
it's
I
already
wouldn't
that way
agree,
on,
so
that way on Bedford Street. I mean, they have
That's-
people hanging out outside, that
That's
little
kind of what
thing,
my,
and
my,
so
that's why I think that I'm just more comfortable with midnight, call away. Cross if there's later business to be done earlier in the week, then, you know, they can seek people later.
I must say, I am as well. My question, Carter, is that being beer and wine, is that, do we feel comfortable defending that position? With the.
I don't think that's.
Well, I think
nobody else is open.
the problem is, the problem is will the SLA call it up?
Yeah, well, no, that's, they have to take this into account in their record.
But then there's no steps at all.
well, I can write it as this is what we want. This is, you know, we're denying it, and it should they feel. Whatever my usual wording is, compelled to approve it, we want these steps put on it.
And you put in the resolution, is there concerns, is that there's a rear yard that. That's
Yeah, and with the closing hours of midnight, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
It's those are
We've been
included in
told
the
it's
step.
covered, but we,
You know, there's no.
it
This
seems
is,
like it's legal.
well, that this has been a restaurant before, but nobody has been able to demonstrate that the rear yard is an allowable use, only the interior. And each time we hear this, the rear yard is further enclosed as an interior space. And to the
Well,
point
of
where
course,
now they're
that's-
saying it's no longer a rear yard, when in fact it is a rear yard.
Well, and.
So, and that's basically what's happened.
If it hasn't been, if it's been done, as Bob says illegally, if it never, they don't have revised. You know, approvals of things from the city for the enclosure, that suggests they could take the enclosing down at 8.2.
Right, and I just saying it's just building on over and over. I mean, this is like that thing we had on West Fourth where they build the whole kitchen out in the backyard.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And then, you know, it's just successive owners doing more and more to take something that shouldn't be there to make it more and more permanent, where maybe the first one was fine. But the third iteration, it's no longer okay. And that's where the hours really.
Okay, so should I tell Frank one more time, 12 o'clock?
Yeah. Just tell them it's the
We're
rear
denying
yard,
it
there's
unless-
no permissions appear to the rear yard and. More than just. Any stipulation.
I think Frank will cave.
I don't.
I don't think it's about
Well-
caving, I just think it's about
No, agree.
the,
Should I just send them the stipulations for 12 o'clock or just, no, I'll just.
I would send him an email saying that we have a lot of problems with this. If your guy's willing to agree to 12 o'clock, I think we can resolve it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then you can put that in a resolution.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that exactly what we're talking about here, this isn't what the liquor authority doesn't see, that we spend so much time trying to
do
find
this.
an accommodation, not just saying no. for somebody, and that's, you know,
Okay. Cemgo.
The Greek.
The Greek place, yeah. Are we okay with that?
which number is this?
13.
15, really, 13, if you don't count the other one that's
Agenda.
on the agenda.
C4.
Oh, yeah,
The Greek
yeah, I
place
think this is an
good.
improvement
Yeah,
over,
yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, it
well,
seems like,
yeah. I mean, they don't have
and
any
he said
experience,
12 a.m.,
but
7
I'm
days.
comfortable with the hours.
Yeah.
But this whole area is a mess, you know, I mean, it's like, but it's a mess from the places that are there that make noise. Like in the block or two around there, it's like you have to be super loud to exist over there.
So hopefully we don't have to do that.
Wait a minute, what place we down by now?
The
whole
Greek
cafe
place,
is gone.
Wait, number what now? Say it again?
C4.
C4,
Oh, it is the Cemgo Consulting, yeah.
Cemgo, yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's been a problem in the past, but this seems like an improvement.
Yeah, this seems good.
This seems like a really good.
Menu look good. So we deny us on this one?
Yeah.
I thought it that one, with the way you're talking about it,
Yeah.
I'm not something wrong.
Okay, next one, Real Mudo,
Yeah, that
deny
sounds
us,
fine.
10 p.m. I'm glad they finally
Big
got
broad
that.
sidewalk, yeah.
Okay. Next one is MCD Hospitality, Town.
I gotta go loud.
Deny us with that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna say all table services by wait staff to seated patrons only,
Yeah,
and
I come frankly to stay for the very end. It was 1 year ago today, right? He waited 1 year.
and then the other thing I'm gonna say is that it's all includes meals.
Well, I think say substantive meals. You know. Well, that's another thing too. I think that the cost associated with the outside, and when you have that few tables, you really do need to.
Yeah, that's, he seemed to.
Because there's sort of the upfront cost, and then he might have a lower cost for the square footage. Like that upfront cost is a higher portion, so he actually has a higher cost for his seating, and people get to spread that out over the reoccurring yearly cost on top of it. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I think he was tired, yeah, I hope this works out.
Well, I just would
I mean,
like,
it would be nice to not hear the complaints and have him be able to have the outside and have it be able to work. People like his place and,
well, I also think that there are two specific differences that he highlighted. One are the people who call him and say, here is my problem, and he's able to work on fixing it. The other is the people who go out and spray paint
right, yeah.
and do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And make all these complaints, but I didn't see in those 311.
No, there wasn't that much.
Anything that were noise complaints that were consistent with an earlier operation, they were later.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also a bunch of those were like odors and other.
Yeah, no, a
things.
bunch of them were
So-
garbage and odors and things, it had
Yeah.
nothing to do with that.
But I also think that he is shown that he can follow what
trying.
he says he's
You're
doing
right.
for the last year by not operating it.
Because he almost got his license taken away.
Well, but, you know. Okay, so we're denying less with that.
Who got sprayed? Did he spray paint his place?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's outside the sidewalk.
Is that right?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
Just some person?
one of the,
Like someone who's angry at the place?
okay, Bleecker Holdings, Emmett,
Vigilante.
Sidewalk.
Legal Holdings doing business Emmett's.
Fine.
okay. I do think there's a letter somewhere that said there was noise out there and.
The MS is a very noisy place.
And they just want it,
And their
but,
place on the other one too is very noisy. The one
On Grove.
Grove is extremely noisy.
okay, like-minded, assuming that's a denial,
Facility, that's with the platforms.
and I'll write about the ADA and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the ADA, it's like, I was just thinking, it's like, if you're if you're disabled, okay, well, you look at that place and you say, I can't get in there, right? So, I mean, but if you're in New York City, aren't you gonna call ahead of time if you're going to a restaurant and you're in a wheelchair? Because you're gonna be like.
You might be going around with people who just wanna go eat.
You talk to anybody that they will go, and if they can't go, they'll go somewhere else, but they don't call.
No,
You
to
got
make
all these
arrangements, to make sure they can get in.
Yeah.
Because there's so many screwy
No,
places.
no,
in New
no,
York
I
City.
can tell you that that's not,
No, because
people.
it should be
they may-
clear that it's accessible. That way people know it's accessible.
I
Instead
just
of all up on the
know
platform down.
a lot of, there's a lot of can-do, from younger people
Yeah.
who are in wheelchairs who, maybe in wheelchairs for whatever reason, but they're very mobile. They will go through all kinds of things, hang out with their friends,
Yeah.
and they'll figure it out. But the point is, most of those spaces are older spaces, whatever, in our area, steps, all that stuff. What Stella found out when she called, whoever does the ADA stuff, they said it's a new program.
Yeah.
And anything that's new has
to
to be ADA compliant.
Sure.
So even though this platform was there forever, the new program, which allows the
You're talking
new
about,
outside.
you're talking about the city program.
Yeah,
Right.
and that it's a
Of
new
course.
program, so
course
it
it
has to be, the new areas have to be accessible.
But even the building. It technically has to, because it was
I'm
not,
not disagreeing, what I'm just saying
it
though.
was never a
Is that-
restaurant before. Now it's a restaurant. It changed its use, so. It should, but that's why they're getting
But-
sued.
but
That's
they
why they're all
make
getting
it,
sued.
but a lot of these buildings make an accommodation, right?
Yeah.
To make it temporarily accessible, but
Right.
it is not start off accessible. I
Right.
believe that when you create something new, it has to be
It's why when
accessible.
you
It can't be made temporarily accessible.
So it's why a lot of these places have put in a new bathroom. The bathroom is accessible, even if getting into the space is not accessible.
That's right, yeah, and we heard that one business that was in a basement, but they have the ADA accessible bathroom
Which is just a
because they had to
crazy
put it
part.
in, because
So
they
it
were
had-
putting in the new bathroom.
Right,
Right.
right. So,
Wait, Carter, when you were looking at that 311 thing, how did you get it in the,
Oh, it's in the drive.
oh, you didn't look it up on?
No, but you can look it up
You look
that
it up
way.
on,
If you go to the, where it's a big pain, but
No,
yeah.
I just did data in 26 Greenwich chat, but how do you get it into the format that you had it?
If you go to export
Mhm.
and it was just like as a CVS or it's a CSV.
okay, any new business?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, let's see where I shop.
Yes, I'm in favor of the kids, the chair.
The CSV, and then if you
You should-
download that.
We
and
sent them
open
there for
it,
a couple of weeks.
I'm trying to get 4
Yeah,
days off, that ain't that right. Okay,
come on,
I am ending our,
but it doesn't
Session.
have all.
Mark, we're done.
It's-
My
yeah,
drain,
it's not great.
my drain.
I'll show you mom.
Come on.
Wait.
Hey, and
Hearing this meeting is now.
Get in my
Yeah.
book.
You're still being recorded.
This is my mailbox planting, which does,
download that. and
this is my random road shot, which works better than my garden.
Yeah.
So this is a
it's-
measuring.
It's hard